kind of crept up so quick. I like it because Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a very, very, very special live stream indeed. How you doing, guys?
Hi, everybody.
I'm Joel and Ozokli, and I'm joined by CEO and founder Mark Rosa.
Hello, everybody.
So, and again, obviously, new game, new streaming setup as well. So, slightly different to how we've had it in the past. But hopefully, you know, audio, video is coming out good. And we have the chat up on the screen as well. Though I think I need to zoom, scroll down so I can see you guys live here. Let's see. New messages. Let me scroll. The chat is so excited. Wow, there we go. We can see you guys. Oh, we see you now. So, we're here to talk about Space Engineers 2, Marek.
Yes, the moment is here.
The moment is here. And I said, like, just before the stream, there was a little bit of hot mic there. You know, it feels like, even though the game hasn't been in work, you know, for 10 years, it still feels like a decade in the making, if you know what I mean. Like, the history of Keen Software House has kind of brought us to this point. So...
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, to kind of get off, I mean, I think you want to kind of say something about the team right now, right, Marek? Yeah. The team behind this.
So before we start talking about other details, I would really like to say thanks to our amazing team. And I'm really thankful for the great teamwork we have in the SE2 team, but also in SE1 team and other teams that I'm involved in. And but let's focus on Space Engineers. So I think we really have amazing team. There probably was never a better place or moment in Keen's history than it's right now, because we have in SE2 team 70 people who are working on SE. They really love the game, and you can see how they are putting, you know, their love to their work, and you can see it in the result. Everybody's dedicated and pushing the quality and yeah, pushing the limits. So again, thanks to our amazing team. I think, yeah, I had to start with that.
No, I mean, that's a great place to start. And I think you mentioned that the team is the biggest it's ever been, right? So how many people are now working at Keen Software House?
So it's 70 people in SE2. SE1 has their own 30 people, and there are teams in Good AI and so on. So SE2 team is the biggest because it has the game team working on the game and team working on the engine. And also, you know, it's just big because it's a big game and very important for us. And but I would say the level of professionalism in Keen among all the teams is the highest.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great to see it. And I mean, just a short tangent. We've got a lot to get through today, but we're always hiring. So if you're talented out there, check out the careers page, because that's something that we're always looking for new colleagues. You can't. Let me just check. You guys can't hear Marek. Is that true? I see the volume coming out good. Should I turn him up even more? Let's see. I'll turn me down. The levels look okay, but let's see. Marek volume is low. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, Marek. Go again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. I've boosted you up and turned me down. So hopefully that's all audio is low. Is that right? Yeah. Seems to be.
So let me repeat. Again, I want to start this stream by thanking to our amazing teams at Keen, and also the SE2 team working on this game together with me, and together we are creating like something that I consider to be, you know, like the best work of my life. So yeah, I'm absolutely grateful, because without the team it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, so true. And I think that's better now. The chat is in slow mode, but okay, people are saying it's fine. So I think there's some mixed messages there. But anyway, we're good. Mm-hmm. So I say we're going to have some special guests on today. And of course, you know, Marek, you did promise one big announcement before the end of the year. So we are pretty close to the end of the year now. Can you say, is today the day of the big announcement?
Yeah, so today we will announce when the early access will start. So you will learn it. Actually, you will learn it in a few minutes. So what is like going to happen right now is that we would like to show you the trailer, the new alpha reveal trailer. Then we'll talk about the roadmap. It's kind of for the first time in Keen, you know, we have public roadmap. We'll talk about vision and development principles of SE2. We'll do some live gameplay, so I will be playing the game and showing you the features that I love the most about the game, and then there will be Q&A, so we'll be able to answer your questions.
Super. And I think what I will say is I'm curious, just before we actually get into it, when do you guys think it's going to release? Like, what is the chat feeling like? Well, we're seeing both the YouTube and the Twitch chats today. So I'm really curious, if you had to make a bet, which like, roughly, give us a guess. And I think in the meantime, Marek, you maybe want to tell us a little bit, before we get into this, about the roadmap and the new strategy that we have for releases going forward from this point.
Yeah. So basically, the strategy, we call it vertical slices. So we are focusing on finishing vertical slices of the final gameplay in a really polished, high-quality level. And so we split the whole game into these few vertical slices. Basically, they became our roadmap, our milestones. And we'll be talking about this more. And the first vertical slice that we'll be releasing soon will be creative mode. And basically focusing on the creative mode, new unified 25 centimeter grid system, new UI like blueprint building and undo redo and those kind of things. And then there are other vertical slices will follow. But I really want to highlight that we don't want to be developing kind of on all the features at the same time and having them, like in some not really good quality. We rather want to focus on like a limited scope at a time, finish it into final quality, release it, and then move on another vertical slice. For
sure. And I think this is going to be a powerful. I think it's great that the community is going to be involved as we go through these. And I was saying as well, I've been saying the last couple of weeks actually, that the feeling I have right now is the feeling I had when I was in high school back in 2013, and I was literally like racing home from school to jump on my PC and play Space Engineers every night and speculate on the forums and everything. So it's weird because obviously we're about to begin this new era, but I still feel like almost like this nostalgia, this feeling right now inside I haven't felt for a while. It's really like this kind of historical excitement almost. So very, very excited. I know we've had people in the chat who have been playing Space Engineers and part of this community for so many years, and they've themselves have gone through so much. So it's great, awesome. And I think just as we went on there, we wanted to, obviously we're going to get to the start of the release. I'm just saying here, we're going to continue watching to find out, right? We'll release that very soon, the news. And I think also before we do this, there's a question about Space Engineers 1. So Marek, tell us, what about Space Engineers 1?
Yeah, so we will continue developing Space Engineers 1 alongside Space 2. As I said, there is a dedicated team just for Space 1 and Space 2. And so they will continue in parallel. And that's it. Like, we are still dedicated, to push Space Engineers 1.
Yeah, and there's updates coming not in the not too distant future. Like 206, you probably caught the teasers in the newsletter, and that's always a good point to sign up for the newsletter if you're not already, because that will be a continued place of updates and the kind of the first place you'll hear news. And then also just to share some of your mindset and our decisions kind of going into open development, and why you liked open development and why the team likes open development as opposed to having everything behind closed doors for years and then just suddenly.
Yeah. So basically this was always in our DNA to release alpha early and then continue, incremental development.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another is that when you get feedback from the community, it just feels nice, So, and if you would be working on Space 2 for another, let's say 5 years behind closed doors and then would release it, then we would lose all that excitement, right? Or basically would get it much later. So there was not really a choice for us. It was more about like when we'll start the early access and get more involved with the community.
Definitely. And we always call it an ecosystem. Like we have obviously the developers, but we have the players, we have the server admins, we have modders, there's streamers, YouTubers. Like this, the whole Space Engineers is like an ecosystem. So to be able to develop the next game, Space Engineers 2, together with the community, like we've been doing so far, is and on another level as well, of course. So we have a lot of points here, guys. So I'm just going to scroll down here. We're getting closer and closer to the
trailer.
Yes. So, Marek, how about again, we were just talking about development. So how about the development principles of Space Engineers 2?
Yeah. So at the beginning, basically, we had to sit down and think about like what is Space 2, how is different from Space Engineers 1, you know, how we want to innovate, how we want to push it. And for me, Space Engineers 2 is really not just a sequel, it's a reimagination of Space Engineers experience, you know, what are the core principles of the game, and then just doing them 10 times better than they are now. That's it, basically. Like really, with designers, with the programmers, with the artists, with the QA, with everybody, we sit down, we really spend a lot of time thinking about what's the core experience and then how can we make it 10 times better. So some things will change, obviously, some things will never change because, you know, there is some core Space Engineers experience and that cannot change. And Space Engineers 2, for me, it's, you know, a game that is basically built on 10 years, 11 years of experience of, you know, building and supporting the original Space Engineers 1. And the differences that we want in Space Engineers 2 are focus on intuitiveness or accessibility, user experience, flexibility. So basically making the game much easier to learn, to play, to enjoy, and the feeling. This is very important for me. I call it instant gratification. So like, you know, the feeling of interacting with the environment, seeing the physical impact, that's very important. So we want to push that further. Another one is narrative or lore, you know, so like in Space Engineers 1, we never had any lore, or very, very just, you know, like briefly here and there, like, you know, Factorum recently, but not a big lore. In Space Engineers 2, there is a whole lore, you know, there is a Almagest system, there are people who travel there for some reasons, you know, there are conflicts, drama, main characters, and so on. And then obviously volumetric water, you know, that's another big feature that will be coming. And lastly, I would say the new engine, VRH 3, that we had to, you know, like make a new generation of our engine to redo the architecture so that it's ready for the next decade. So these were the you know, the main principles.
And there's some big principles. I mean, I'm seeing the chat here. We've got lore, you know, water, and we haven't talked about the narrative, but we have shared some, you know, progress we've been making with volumetric water during VRH development. It's a huge thing which we will get to. But let us continue. I know you guys. I see that everyone is waiting for the trailer here, so we are close now.
Maybe just a few things.
Yeah, go ahead, Marek.
So NPCs and living universe, that's actually a big thing. So
it's a huge thing. Yeah.
That's part of the story and narrative, but also, you know, like a human NPCs being in the environment, factions, so that the world feels more alive. That's another thing. Then, you know, like focusing more on performance, so it's more scalable, you know, as the computers are getting faster, and visuals. And I think you can see the visuals from the trailers or teasers that we released, and I hope you like them. And just let's go quickly or let's continue quickly so we get to the trailer.
Yeah.
So as I said, like we have new engine VRH 3 that is designed just for Space Engineers 2. By the way, I will be also starting weekly dev diaries next Thursday. So I will be posting, you know, just text diaries of what I was working on and the team was working. Mostly it will be from my perspective, but you will get to know some details, you know, like how we are deciding and so on. And I'm really happy with how Space Engineers 2 is looking. I'm very happy with, you know, the collaboration with the team. I think it will be an amazing game in a few years.
Definitely. And that's something that I know human NPCs is just to pull out one of those things is definitely something that you know, players have been talking about for a while. So this is definitely going to be the living universe, right? So I'm just saying if there's you mentioned the dev diaries here. So I think
for the alpha trailer.
I think it's time for the alpha trailer. Are you guys ready? Let's see at least one. I need to see at least one person say hype. Maybe there's no one out there. I don't know. And we'll play this in just a second. Here we go. Three, two, one, roll the clip. Oh, that was the wrong one. Roll this clip.
Welcome back, engineer. After 10,000 years in cryosleep, you have awakened to a new dawn in the Almagest system. 10,000 light years from Earth, our home is but a distant memory. Here, the bright star Almagest and the brown dwarf Delphos form a double-star system. Among the first wave of space engineers, you stand at the threshold between void and possibility. Armed with humanity's most advanced tools, you'll build with unprecedented flexibility using the 25-centimeter unified grid system with undo-redo support. Blueprint building becomes seamless. Partially copy-paste, snap to grid, and assign to toolbar. The new voxel hand helps reshape asteroids and alter materials. These intuitive tools ensure that every engineer, veteran or novice, can bring their vision to life. Our grids can reach speeds up to 300 meters per second, with engineering advancements ensuring that collisions up to 20 meters per second will not cause structural damage. The Bearing Project represents humanity's drive to explore and create beyond Earth's boundaries. Pioneers make this one-way journey, seeking self-reliance and a new frontier, motivated not by necessity, but by the fundamental human desire for discovery and freedom. Join us in the Almagest system, where every act of creation shapes our destiny.
And there we go. It's coming, Marek. January 27th,
Yes, yes.
2025.
So only 1 month, basically, and then you will be able to play the vertical slice one creative mode.
Now, this is, I think this is a lot earlier than a lot of people are expecting. I was, reading comments from the teasers coming up to this, but it's amazing how quickly this kind of came on us. But what did you guys think of the trailer? How are we feeling right now? I always ask this, like, give me one word to describe your feeling right now after seeing that trailer for Space Engineers 2 Alpha. Yeah, this is even right now. I think I know that the team are tuning into this, but this has obviously been a long time coming up to this point. So yeah, and I think pre-orders, Marek.
Yes. Pre-orders will be starting tonight.
Yes.
Basically, I can give a signal to the team to release the blog post and release all the materials, and open the web page and actually Steam store page as well. We have new dedicated Space Engineers 2 web page or website where you can also find all the materials. So please go and enjoy. But don't leave the stream, because we will go through the blog post, like very long blog post where we are explaining everything from the roadmap to development history to everything. So please stay here, because we really want to talk about these things. And regarding the early access release in January 27, so it will be, again, vertical slice 1 focused on creative mode. Then the later vertical slices will come, and I think it's for people who want to play the game, in its early stages.
Yeah.
So if somebody still wants like a final polished, or I would say like complete experience, with survival and campaign and everything, those people probably should wait. But if you really want to enjoy what you can see in the teasers and trailers, and you want to get Space Engineers with unified grid system and new visuals and new everything, I would really recommend trying it. It will also help us with getting feedback and just growing the community.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I say, like, this is this is alpha. So this is definitely going to be for those who really want to get stuck in as soon as possible to give the team feedback as we continue to develop this next version of Space Engineers. And I'm just reading some of the comments right now. I think it sounds like the store page is already live and the website is live as well. So that's great to see there.
Let's go for the blog post.
Sure. Here we go. I'm just going to... Should it be posted now? Is oh, here we go. Now it's live. Just went live as I refreshed it the second time. Here we go. Okay. We'll switch to a different scene here for this. Yeah. So here we are, Marek. We have the blog post, and I think I just wanted to also add, like, we're going to have, we'll be joined by some special guests in a bit, and we're going to cover, I say, everything in detail, guys, and we're going to answer some of the biggest questions that you have. I'm sure there's going to be some big questions. So we already have some questions that we know that, you guys are going to want to hear the answers to, but also we're going to be looking that we have our team monitoring the chat, and we're going to be following some of the hottest questions from the chat and address them on the stream here. So let's begin, Marek. We've got a lot to get through here.
Yeah. I think let's go fast so we get to the roadmap, because I think people are really interested to know what it's about. So in vertical slice number 1, you will get the new unified 25 centimeter grid system, new blueprint building, so you can snap to grid, you can do partial copy paste, assign to toolbar. There will be grid undo redo and other enhancements. Also the grid speeds were increased to 300 meters per second. We also implemented safe speed, which means that grids, when they collide under 20 meters per second, there is no structural damage, which I think is very useful. And now the ships feel more like, like a good solid ships. New mag boots with camera stabilization, new physics, and new fractures that you could see in the video. Now things are breaking much more nicely, more realistic, and the new visuals. So we have ray tracing with global illumination with ray tracing, tessellated terrain, tessellated voxels, parallax mapping on the armor, sleek armor edges. So the edges on the armor, don't have these, they don't look low poly, they don't have hard edges, and also they don't have this extra geometry. They're just like much more rounded with some kind of bevel effect and enhanced lighting. So I think I honestly don't know if the rendering and the graphics can be any better than what we achieved in Space Engineers 2 right now. And all this is powered by VRH3 engine. Yeah. We can continue.
Okay. I say, and just to add to the building, like, I can say that once you've actually built, it's very hard to, in some ways it's difficult to go back to the SE1 building in the sense that the level of efficiency that you're able to build. And we're going to get into it. Of course, I don't know if we should mention now, Marek, but we will have a live gameplay session a little bit later on the stream. So you'll get to see the game. Marek's going to play it, and you're going to have a little live playthrough in just a little second. So.
And we also didn't say, but we will have few guests.
Yeah.
So there will be Chendo, who is the tech director of Space Engineers 2 and VRH Engine. So he will be here in roughly 1 hour. We'll have Karel Antonin, who is the musician working with us for last almost 15 years on basically all games that we made, from Minor Wars to Space Engineers 1 and now Space Engineers 2. So even the music you can hear in the background, that's Karel's work.
Yeah, we can get into that. But what did you guys think of the music as well? We had it in the intro. I'm turning it up. But it is absolutely stunning. And Karel's going to talk about it a little bit later. So.
And then we will have Lukáš Tvrdoň, who is the sound designer, also working with us from the beginning on all the games that we ever made. And, now we are doing it again on Space Engineers 2 and pushing the limits and the realism and the feeling that you get from interacting with the world, which is usually through sound. So let's continue.
Okay.
What we see on the screen is actually there is a roadmap. So
and we'll see this in game as well in a second.
Yeah. So on the right side, you can see that vertical slice 2 will be planets and survival, and vertical slice 3 will be water. Then there will be other vertical slices, multiplayer, NPCs, and story campaign, and then we'll see. And there will be some smaller vertical slices sometime at the beginning of next year. First one will focus on adding the UGC or workshop to the game, so you'll be able to share the creations, the blueprints with other players. Then another one, VS 1.2, will be, I would say, like intuitiveness improvements, basically things that we learned while we were finishing VS1, but we didn't have time to put them into VS1 because, you know, that would prolong the whole thing, and that's not the point. The point is actually to be releasing early and frequently. And so we move those things to VS 1.2, and I will be talking about some details that will be there. And then there will be VS 1.5, which will actually release the editor and modding tools for the modders.
And that's
course,
a
a big thing.
That is a massive thing. We
And
love
then-
our modders.
And then a big vertical slice, again, planets and survival will come. So you will have 2 planets, Chemic and Verdure. There will not be Byblos, because Byblos is the water planet, or is it Byblos?
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
The designers are probably going to be like, are they going to get it right? I'm not sure.
So Byblos or Byblos is the water planet. So that one will come in the VS3 together with water. And so let's continue.
Yeah, we're speed running this, guys, but you can
Yes.
definitely take this at your own pace as well. Go over the blog post yourself here. So I think I should have probably scrolled down here. We were talking again about why we're approaching this vertical slice strategy, and this again is showing very nicely the roadmap again there. So obviously creative mode, January 27th, UGC workshop, Mod.io. You can see it all there, guys, but it's very, very exciting things on the way. And water, that's going to be breathtaking as well.
But I'm also looking forward to the survival, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Because we will have what we call backpack building and projection building. So projection building means that you can build in survival almost as in creative, you know. So you build the projections first with the simplicity that creative mode gives you, and then you just weld it.
Yeah.
And backpack building means that your backpack has special tools for processing the resources. So you're just drilling, mining, and instantly building. And of course, there is still benefit to use the refinery and assembler, you know, and that path. But I always wanted to have backpack building because I wanted the simplicity and this kind of like instant feedback that I drill, I mine, and I build, you know, and I don't need to spend time micromanaging my resources.
And I think we also see that on that kind of intro screen, how basically like it's a lot more intuitive, but the potential for advanced builders to do super detailed builds is actually on another level. So this is on both ends of the spectrum. It's better. Is the kind of summary there.
And there's the same thing with, for example, 25 centimeter unified grid system. That some people, I've seen it in the comments, they fear that okay, now everything will be more tedious. You know, like building from little 25 centimeter bricks. But that's actually not how it works. You can still build, and you will see this in the gameplay. You can still build 2.5 meter blocks, or even, you know, some refineries even bigger. You can still build with them, but the grid has the 25 centimeter flexibility, so you can move things around with much finer detail. And it's just up to you, basically, if you want to build 2.5 meter blocks or 25 centimeter blocks. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's move.
And you guys, like always, if you can see here, we have the scroll bar on the side, and this is almost like a loading screen. You can see how long this detailed blog post is. So we have a nice graphic representing the roadmap here, which is also a bit like having a roadmap like this. I know players are going to really appreciate. That'd be something they've been asking for. So now we have some beautiful concepts coming up. So the vision for Space Engineers 2.
Yeah. So Space Engineers 2 is for me a culmination of everything we have been working on and learning last 11 years, and even before, because the vision for Space Engineers was in me much longer than that. And so what we did, as I said in the beginning, we looked on what's the core experience of Space Engineers, what should be Space Engineers, and how we can make it 10 times better. And this is it. So in some sense, Space Engineers 2 is the Space Engineers I always dreamed of, you know. And now we want to build it without any compromise. So, you know, if there is something that has to be done in order to achieve this vision, then we're just going to do it. Like, there is no, plan B, or basically there is no coming back. So Space 2 is really without compromise, just pushing the founding vision of space engineers.
And I think it's also, I think you've already touched on it, but it's so key to note that this is the foundation, and it's super important to have a strong foundation to build upon. And we'll get into some of the, some of the new technologies, the data oriented, like we'll get into that obviously in a bit here. But I can't wait. Like I'm like, can't wait to get to there's so much to cover here. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that this is like something fresh. This is solid foundations here with VS1 that the team is going to build upon in the coming months and years. So I know we're obviously summarizing this, Marek, but we're going to scroll down.
Yes.
Why is Space Engineers 2 the next big leap? Here we go.
Yeah. So the difference is, as I said in the beginning, more intuitive, more flexible in building, more visually stunning. Things just must look better. More immersive. So we have the storytelling and living universe with the human NPCs. Better performance, and mostly the better potential for optimizing and scaling up the performance because of the data-oriented architecture that we chose for VRH 3, and more engaging survival experience. So this is why Space 2, is the next step from Space Engineers 1.
And yeah, we're starting here with the first three things here: the intuitive user experience. And again, we obviously have touched on some of these, but I think we can go over these again here. Yeah. So the first big things.
Yeah. So for me, Space Engineers is mainly about interacting with the volumetric physical world and feeling the feedback, that the world gives me when I interact with it, like while building or destroying or just walking around and jumping and hearing the sound of your footstep and so on. This is very important for me. But also having user experience controls that are not creating extra constraints to what I want to build. So when I want to build something, I want the steps to do it to be like easy to learn. Ideally, actually, no learning, just like doing it. That's the best user interface for me. So we spend a lot of time, and we still will be spending more of time as like we are developing the game, we are testing the user interface and improving. And that's actually what will be coming in VS 1.2, are like many of these improvements that we learned after we implemented VS 1. And we'll be just doing this over and over to make the game as fluent, intuitive as possible. The next one is building freedom. So this is why we had to do a 25 centimeter unified grid system to kind of like get rid of the small versus large grid and really add the flexibility for players. But there are other things like undo, redo. So, you make some mistake, just press the undo button, it's undone.
It's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying, yeah. Even today, I was doing something in the game and I just made some mistakes, like, undo, no problem. And then you can redo if you want and so on. But then there is a blueprint building, which means that you can select some blocks on a grid. They are then copied to a clipboard. You can create a blueprint from it. You can assign that blueprint to your toolbar and then actually build with that blueprint as if it was block. So you don't even need to. Basically, you will see this in the gameplay. It behaves like a block, and then I would say like standard tools for symmetry and so on. But also we have new paint tool that helps you to repaint things around you. Next one is visuals and or visual and physical revolution. So as I was saying, ray tracing, global illumination, tessellated terrain, parallax mapping, all these things are helping to make the game look like more and more realistic. But it still has some art style, that is very important for us, that it's stylized in a way that it's almost like a romantic space colonization place. And for those who don't know, the differences or the reasons why we have our own engine and why we are not using, some other commercial engines is that none of those actually can support a game with such dynamic, destructible environment, and also environment that is so large scale without loading screens and seamless transitions. So in our game, like you can build you can basically copy paste, whole ship, or you can destroy a whole ship, or you can travel from orbit to planet surface, and
Then underwater.
then underwater. Yes, and the other engines, they are not good at this because they never were. This is not their use case. They are not focused to do this.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to do our own engine. But we also love doing our own engine. So it's not really something that I consider to be a disadvantage, or I don't consider to be a pain. Basically,
Yeah.
I enjoy having our own engine, having all the flexibility and freedom, and So that's.
And I think actually just quickly touching on the engine, I think we'll get into it more with Chenda later,
Yes.
again about that process. So just to quickly, I know we just pause here quick, just I see lots of questions, guys. I think some of the questions our team is addressing right now, but I think the blog post will answer a lot of your questions, but also, again, we will be pulling the top questions from the chat and addressing them. So just sit tight. We'll definitely get to it. I've also I have the team on my shoulder here giving me some feedback and, just making sure that we go over everything that you can do in the alpha, and that we have a system requirements page as well that you can access, so you can see what kind of hardware you can expect. So I think we'll get to that as well. But thanks, team, for the help there. So we'll scroll down. Okay, I'm gonna give us. Again, it's hard to shout out every single team member because the whole team, but just to shout out these concepts by Mike Hamlet, they are always superb, always superb stuff. So here we go, Mark.
Mike is very talented. So other differences between Space 1 and Space 2. Building and survival, and as I was mentioning, this backpack building, making the survival experience like more satisfying and more pleasurable. And I'm also doing this for myself, to be honest, because I want the survival in Space Engineers to feel like, it's a game that I want to play, I want to enjoy. And Then another one is story and the universe, the lore. So we will have the human NPCs, there will be stations, factions, there will be quests, things like that. So the world around you will feel alive. That's a very big difference, something we never had in Space Engineers. And let's continue to the technical innovation. So multi-core scalability means that the data-oriented architecture that we have in VRH 3 means that we can be processing multiple, let's call it data streams, or multiple entities, components at the same time, utilizing the multi-core CPUs much better. So we'll be able to optimize the game in coming maybe decades, and also it will scale up better on dedicated servers. And that's the data-oriented architecture. Then we have enhanced physics simulations, and for the first time we have the fractures, so the blocks don't just disappear. they nicely fracture, and you can see it. And we have new GPU-driven pipeline, which means that the render can basically do more, and it's also not slowing down the CPU. So that's another nice thing. And all this is with true volumetric environment.
And again, this is another, just to summarize that, is like when it comes to, there's the visual things, but also like I love that idea that the scalability, that's the thing. Like we have the game as it is now, but obviously more and more features will be added. And one of the questions we always get in SE1 is always, about optimization. And the potential for optimization in SE2 is far beyond, what I think even the team probably even realizes yet, because there's always, new methods to optimize. And I think you touched on the idea of how you implement the features and then you optimize those features.
So I think the vertical slice one is already quite, performing very well, in my opinion. But we have some technical KPIs that we are trying to hit. So the programmers, they are still optimizing and will still be optimizing like throughout, the early access. So let's go to hardware requirements. So I think it's best if people just read it from the screen or from the blog post.
I'm not sure if they can you guys read that okay? Because I know we've got like the screen up here, but I don't know how the resolution is, because we've got this 4K monitor here, but I can zoom in actually. Let's just see. Oh, there we go. I probably should have done that from the start. A little bit better. Here we go. So that you should, I think that because the image isn't scaled, but in general, I can just highlight this. I Actually, can I read that on this zoomed in? The recommended, we have a base being 3.6 gigahertz CPU, Ryzen 7, or an Intel i7 9700K, and then either a Radeon RX 6800 or a GTX 3080, 2080 Ti, 16 gig of RAM. So that's kind of the recommended. But in fact, I'll leave that for you guys to go over because again, we have so much to get through here. So,
but myself, I really recommend to have good computer, to run SC2. I think people will really enjoy it.
In 4K as well.
And in 4K, like I'm
so good.
playing the game in 4K. And it just looks so amazing because we have really good anti-aliasing. So the details, and you can see this in the videos, the details like, the terrain on the asteroids or spaceships in the distance, they look absolutely sharp and crystal clear.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I play on 4K and because it's just making it feel, I would say, like twice as better.
Yeah, we're going to, and I think it's one thing when you see the videos and when you see the gameplay in a bit from the stream, but when you actually play for yourself, I don't know, it just hits you because you obviously don't have the compression of the stream and so on. But it's the shadows are super good, super sharp and satisfying. All right, so we're here with the community tonight. We still have, I think, over 10,000 people are still here, Marek, which is incredible. So thank you guys for being here for this incredible moment. And now we're going to talk here about the community involvement and early access. So, I mean, we're going to talk, let's see here.
Yeah, so when the early access will start in January 27, we'll do the weekly dev diaries. We'll try to have releases with the vertical slices as frequently as we can, probably every couple months. And we'll be listening to the feedback from the community so that we can improve the game. And we want the community to be involved. And the other topic is, of course, the UGC or the workshops of players sharing their creations. And then in VS 1.5, we'll release the modding support and the VRage hub and VRage editor. So modders will be able to start doing their magic.
Exactly. There we go. That's good. Sorry, I was just here. Okay. And going over this. And then we actually touched on it earlier. We're talking about the commitment to Space Engineers 1. It's important. It's an important topic here. So let's cover that now.
Yeah. So we are still committed to Space Engineers 1. And as we have been for the last 11 years. Last update that we did was Contact, roughly 2 months ago. It was our most successful update that we ever had. So that was really amazing achievement, and we are already planning some updates for the next year. That you can actually see in the blog post, and you can see the teaser in the blog post. So we are committed to Space One.
Definitely, and it's now been over 11 years, and the community and the game is as strong as ever. It's amazing to see. We look at the Steam charts, we look at everything, and still new people are finding this game and finding the community and getting involved. So it's still SE1. I know I'm going to be playing a lot of it and streaming a lot of it. So it's SE1 is here to stay. So, and there's obviously the sneak peek from the recent newsletter, which is the next update sneak peek with the cargo ships. So, so there's some more teasers in here as well. This is the large grid small insect connector. So being able to connect small grids to large grids much more easily now. So this is going to be coming as part of the free part of the 206 update. So that's very, very nice. Another really, I think, quality of life block there. So, and this summarizes it. Well, I think, Marek, Space Engineers 1 and Space Engineers 2 will coexist, each offering unique experiences for players. So now we're moving down to the important transparency notice about early access. So let's cover this, Marek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as any early access, it's still early access. So there may be bugs or some imperfections or polish. And also things may change during the early access. And there definitely will be things, especially the UI part that will be changing. And so again, if somebody wants more finalized experience, I think they should wait until the game is complete. But for those for those pioneers who want to, go and explore Space Engineers 2 universe, I would recommend them to join the game even now with the pre-orders or on January 27 and play the game themselves.
Yeah. I know you guys are waiting to get to the gameplay, so we're going to try and get to that as soon as possible for you. As I mentioned, we have an action-packed stream here. So, obviously, some people will wonder, well, how long have you been working on Space Engineers 2 or V-Rage 3? So this covers this.
It's almost 3 years. First, what we have done, usually it's some kind of pre-production period, and then you have production. And so pre-production was about analyzing what engine to choose, what the game should be about, the core principles that I was talking about. And also what was happening was that the team for Space Engineers 2 was growing. So some people from Space Engineers 1 came to Space Engineers 2 team, and then many new people were actually hired for Space Engineers 2. So it took some time until we grew to 70 people in Space Engineers 2. And all this was happening during last 3 years. Very important, let's say, change or step happened this year, sometime in second quarter, was when we decided to switch to this vertical slice approach. And instead of building bottom up and building everything at the same time, we decided that no, we'll actually focus on very clear vertical slice functionality, something that we would be able to actually show to players. And because we have many prototypes in the game already, but we cannot show them to people because they are simply not presentable, and you would just disappoint. And with vertical slice, what we are aiming to is when we deliver something is really good.
Yeah, that's the key thing. So and here we just we have again we touched on this again, so we can some of the shout outs, some of the shout outs here to the leadership team here. But obviously, this is these guys are running the different various teams. Over 70 individuals, programmers, artists, designers, QA, production, sound, music, video creation, PR, whole list there. So big shout out to everyone on the screen right now.
Yeah, thanks again to all the people here and also people in their teams. I think they really did amazing job, and I'm every time surprised how good Space Engineers looks and how good it feels.
And then, yes, Space Engineers 1 again with its own team of 30 developers. You can see how we're working in parallel here. Okay, scrolling down then. So we're blasting through this. The development process here. So
I will just sum it up quickly. Yeah, I think we are quite organized. The production, the planning, and reviews, and playtests, and design documents. And we're always improving, of course, and learning and improving. But I think the team is very, very organized, and yeah.
Yes, indeed. A lot of stuff was learned during SE1 development.
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is talking about the teams here as well. All the teams.
Yeah. And then what is my role as creative director or game director is that first I come up with the vision, and then I make sure that the things that we come up with are aligned with this singular vision. That's very important, because what we also learned in the past is that when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, the result is not good because it's too mixed. So I think my main role is to maintain alignment with this vision and with what is Space Engineers 2.
Yeah. And again, I think the in the chat is helping, but just to quickly say here, guys, pre-orders are open on our website, the Space Engineers 2 website. You will get a Steam key through this by pre-ordering. I think the site is definitely, there's a lot of people visiting the site right now, but just to kind of, some people, I see people asking about where is the pre-order and so on. So that's where you can find that. And I have to ask, give me a little 07, a little salute in the chat if you have already pre-ordered Space Engineers 2. I'm really curious to see if you've got through to that already. So as we continue on here, we're talking again about the vertical slice this year. We switched that methodology. So I'm not sure if you want to.
No, I think we can go through
okay.
this. Yes.
Nice picture of planets, work in progress. Planets and water, work in progress there. But they're absolutely stunning. And there's been lots of images shared actually over the last year of the development of this. So we come on to some of the lore. The Almagist system. And I say me and Marek are wearing these nice new hoodies with the Almagist system on the arms. Beautiful hoodies, actually. I have to show these off later. But let's touch a little bit on the backstory, Marek.
Yeah. So Space Engineers 2 is set in a Almagist system, and it's a system that is 10,000 light years from Earth. So people actually have to travel there 10,000 years, give or take. They're using warp drives to travel there, but they need to be in cryosleep, all these 10,000 years. And all of them are pioneers and people who want to colonize new solar system and basically be independent and self-reliant. And we took inspiration here from the past explorers, who were discovering new countries and exploring new places.
The music right now as well. It's like
yes. So this is the backstory for Space Engineers 2.
Okay. And we're talking. Here's the
And now about the Bering project.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the project, that basically sent the waves of colonists to on this one-way journey to Almagest. And something about Almagest. So it's a binary system. There is the Almagest star, and there is the Delphos, the dwarf, and the Delphos is stationary, doesn't move, and the Almagest, is the bright star that rotates or orbits around Delphos. And the solar system has 3 planets, couple moons, asteroid belts, and asteroid fields.
This is big kind of previews here. All the different even the names of the planets that you guys can look forward to in the future, in the coming vertical slices. So I'm going to scroll down here as well, and we talk about some of the factions, some of the groups in Space Engineers 2.
Yeah. So there will be astronauts without borders, Legion of Engineers, Elikit, who are kind of like strange, and then boatmen, like really spooky people. And as I said, there will be NPCs, so we'll be able to interact with the NPCs either in the campaign or in the sandbox survival experience.
So that more teasers.
Now you can see teaser for the water.
Uh-huh.
So this is some nice visualization from the game, showing.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, showing the ocean.
On a vacation there, it looks like. It looks like Croatia or something. Okay, and we have some more planetary. This is all good kind of previews here.
Yeah, and there is also a mystery in Almagest system, so we don't want to say too much, but as you came there, you discovered that maybe there was something happening like long time before you arrived, and maybe you should explore it, and learn more about it.
Yeah, no leaks. We've already not too many leaks today. Something to look forward to. Oh, look at that, and we can see some of that's stunning, isn't it? Again, some of these different planetary shots. That is amazing. Great work, guys. I have to say this because I feel like I feel like when I was looking over this, I feel like I'm seeing this for the first time. That image is so nice. Wow. Okay, so again, and we're talking here about the sandbox and the story campaign.
Yeah. So you will be able to experience Almagest in 2 ways: sandbox and campaign. Sandbox, means that you are on a planet, you are progressing. You are building your grid, you are communicating with the factions, and you're kind of setting up your own goals. The campaign will be very different. It will be a set of missions that you go from one to another through story, and at the end you will learn more about mysteries of Almagest. And the campaign will be about brothers Miroslav and Ivan Sokol, who just completed the 10,000 year travel in the cryosleep. They had some trouble. arrival. They solve the troubles, but some other troubles are happening or coming their way, and they will be unfolding the secrets of Almagest. So, and you as a player, you will play as Miroslav Sokol.
There we are. So, all it's. I'm not sure if the players expected so much reveals for the future, but definitely, players are going to jump into the vertical slice in a month's time, and this is really just going over what you guys can expect in the coming vertical slices here. So I'm just scrolling over here as well. Anything you want to, you let me know if you want to cover anything.
No, we can continue.
So, but again, great concept art by, I was about to say by Miroslav, by Mike Hamlet. Yeah, I like, even I want this as like a poster, right? This is really good stuff. I'm sure that will come. Okay. So,
yeah. So let's go to Pioneer Edition. So we also have Pioneer Edition of the game, which includes the base game, of course, soundtrack, and exclusive behind-the-scene development materials during the past 3 years. I would really highlight the soundtrack. It's work of Karel Antonín, and I think it's absolutely amazing. You can also hear, the music in the background. Today we'll be releasing 3 demo tracks from the soundtrack. So if they are already online, you can listen to them. I'm sure one of them is already online. And so this is the Pioneer Edition.
It's a great name.
And in let's say 30 minutes, Karel will come here and he will be talking about the music creation and the vision and the inspiration behind the music that we created for Space Engineers 2.
Yeah, I think we've still lots to get through tonight. I think the stream will be a little longer today, which is it's a good thing in many ways. So we'll get to it all shortly.
But if you will wait a few more minutes, you will get to see the gameplay.
Yeah, a few more minutes. Gameplay is coming up coming up next, guys. So you're going to see Marek playing Space Engineers 2. A little preview of what you guys will get access to come January 27th here. And so yeah, we're again talking about very talented Karel, who is going to be joining us soon, and talented musicians and a full orchestra. Mm-hmm. And this is actually a big deal. I don't know how many of the tracks, but a lot of the tracks are recorded with a full, I don't know, he'll probably tell us, and we'll wait for a bit. We'll tell us for a bit, yeah. But many, huge orchestra. And this, I love this.
Yeah, this is Alex's work, this cover art, and it's absolutely amazing. The inspiration we had for this was like some Baroque or Renaissance painters. And we just wanted to reimagine it for the soundtrack, because it's like the goal was to really feel like it is coming from the art space, not from the like a real world.
Yeah, and you got Karel's signature there as well. So love it, love to see it. Okay, so we're very close now. We're at the FAQ. Are we gonna? Should we cover? Yes, we can cover this now because there will be questions later anyway. I think, right?
Yeah.
So, first up, will Vertical Slice 1 contain all the blocks that are currently in Space Engineers 1?
So of course not, because Space 1 was in development for 11 years, so we cannot kind of like catch up to that with Space Engineers 2. It will contain the blocks that are needed for the creative mode building. So you will have, like variations of the armors and gyros and gravity generators and windows, and you will have many, many blocks, but of course not all those that are in Space Engineers 1. And, that will come later. We'll be adding more blocks as they make sense for the Space 2 experience.
Another big question, and that is, what exactly are players getting on January 27, 2025?
Yeah, so we'll release Vertical Slice 1, Creative Mode, and all the other vertical slices, they will come later, including planets, survival, water, NPCs, campaign, multiplayer, and more.
There we go. Can I transfer my grids from Space Engineers 1 to Space Engineers 2?
Yes, but we are releasing a tool, or we will be releasing a tool that helps you export from the grids from Space Engineers 1 to Space Engineers 2. But because, there are differences, because in Space Engineers 2 we have this 25 centimeter unified grid system, And as I said, some blocks are still not in Space Engineers 2. So I just want to kind of warn people, or kind of like set the expectation so that not everything will migrate from Space Engineers 1 to Space Engineers 2. You will still have to probably like finalize your builds or kind of even maybe redo your builds. But I don't see this as a negative thing. Actually, thing is that maybe Space Engineers 2 is an opportunity to reimagine your Space Engineers 1 creations.
Yeah.
Just like we did with Space Engineers 2, coming from Space 1 to Space 2. Maybe you can also reimagine your builds and build them again, but with the flexibility and power of Space Engineers 2.
Okay, and then here's another question. Which I think I saw maybe during some of the teaser previews, the comments. Why are we making a sequel and a new engine and simply just continuing with Space Engineers 1 and iterating on that?
So with Space Engineers 2, we wanted, or like, I personally wanted to be the freedom to be able to make a revolutionary step. So I didn't just want to do incremental small changes. And also I didn't want to be bounded, by the past, by the technology that we have and data compatibility and so on. So I really wanted Space Engineers 2 to be a revolutionary step, so we can breathe deeply and just do what we think is the best. And I still believe that making a new game that is unconstrained by the past, that was the good choice.
I have another question at the end here. Oh, here's another question. Why aren't we launching Space Engineers 2 with water? Why not wait until water's done?
Yeah, so water is a complex feature. We still need a lot of work and optimization on the water. Right now, the team is working on the visual aspect, making it more beautiful, more nicer. But water is really a big thing, and we didn't want to postpone the release, the early access release, because of the water. We want to give people the game so they can play it as soon as possible. But the water will come, everybody in the team is excited about it.
Yeah. And then another question. All the questions. There's not too many left. We're so close to the gameplay, guys. I know you're waiting for it. But these are important points. I really think these hopefully will answer a lot of the questions that are being asked in the chat. So why are you releasing a Space Engineers 2 alpha while Space Engineers 1 is still actively developed? Isn't this unusual?
Yeah. So the simple answer is that we want to develop Space Engineers 2 alongside the community and not behind closed doors. That's it, basically.
Yeah. Summarized.
Yeah.
And then what about Space Engineers 1?
Yeah, we continue developing it.
Yeah.
And the next update is actually just a few months from here.
Away, yeah. Okay, and another big question that I've saw for the chat. What about PlayStation and Xbox?
Yeah. So at this stage, we are focusing on the PC alpha. Console releases are different, than developing for PC. But we have actually one colleague in our team who is working on the console version. So slowly, we are getting there. But doing alpha and early access on consoles versus PCs, different story. So for now, we are really focusing on PC.
But I think it's clear that is the plan.
Yes.
It's just so players, asking about that, speculating. So, that is the plan, guys.
Yeah. Eventually, when the game will be coming out of early access, I don't want to promise it, but probably it will go on all three, platforms at the same time.
I think that might be the... before we get to the FAQ, I just wanted again, Marek, could you... maybe it's here in the conclusion here. I just want to check that. Oh, yeah, no. I just wanted to quickly ask... I've been asked if you can just summarize again what is included in this alpha launch. These key features and blocks for people to enjoy. So
creative mode experience with new unified 25 centimeter grid system, blueprint building, paint tool, new visuals, absolutely amazing visuals, new physics, new animations, new sounds, new music, and many other things that I will show you hopefully in a few minutes in the gameplay.
Yes. Paint tool as well. I know that was a big one from the...
But again, also just to make it clear what is not there, what will not be included, is the planets, survival, multiplayer, NPCs. Those things will come in the following vertical slices.
And we've reached the end of the blog. So again, just a conclusion here. I love that quote. The cosmos is your canvas. Engineer your dreams. But I think I'm just going to read this off here. Space Engineers 2 represents not just the next chapter in our journey, but a new beginning for space sandbox gaming. We invite you to join us in this ambitious endeavor to push the boundaries of creativity, engineering, and exploration. So there we go. And we have a link there. You can connect on all the platforms. Definitely get stuck in with the Discord as always and all the socials. And the price of Space Engineers 2 is $29.99 USD or your regional equivalent. And the Pioneer Edition DLC is $14.99, or you have that the combination there as well. So you can visit 2.spaceengineersgame.com/store. So anything else, Marek, from the conclusion, or is it time to get into the gameplay?
I think it's time.
I think it's time, isn't it? All right, let's do it. Okay. I'm going to change the scenes, and you guys are going to see this. Okay. This is the game. I'm going to pass you the controls, Marek. And we're going to put it up on... Hold on. There we go, Marek. So we're going to play... Yeah, if you can take that, and you can put this quite far forward so it's not in your way. Whatever, yeah, it's quite mobile.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Is that good? So you're seeing it, guys. This is the this is what you've been waiting for. This is the screen you'll be greeted with when you first load up the game, and it covers a lot of what we talked about.
This is the welcome screen that shows you what's new in this in the creative mode, and what is our plan. You know, how the next vertical slices will look like. So now you will see the main menu for the first time. So this is the main menu of the game. And let's go quickly to the game. Here is a button or a banner that, you know, will link you to the newest information about the creative mode. This is how the new game looks like. So, you know, there is a campaign which is disabled for now. There is the survival sandbox disabled for now. There is worlds. It just shows you the Concordia research facility where we will go soon, and or empty world. So let's go back and let's start the creative mode.
Oh,
so
look at that new loading screen.
This is the new loading screen.
And again, you've got that Amager system. Again, familiar loading screen icon, but except enhanced. Next level.
So the first thing that I really want to show is the 25 centimeter grid system and how flexible it is.
Oh, and we're in. This is it.
This is it.
I've got the game music. Let me turn up the game now. Okay, we've got game sound as well, and game music.
So we have the new hut with all these things. Just need to.
Sorry, yeah, but it's.
Yeah. Okay. So what I will do is that I will build a med bay, because that's the one that I was usually using for testing. Now I will go back. So this is the 2.5 meter block that I have. I can change the size and the shape. So for example, this one. But actually what I will do is that I will change the color that I can use for painting.
Oh, the paint gun. He's going straight for the paint gun.
To blue, or maybe, let's say, this blue. And I will switch back to the armor and select some smaller armor. So this will be 50 centimeter. I will turn on the light so I see better in the shadow. And now I can build like this, you know.
Inside of that like U-shaped med bay, yeah. As my favorite thing, there is no large or small grid. It's just grid.
Yes.
So.
And I can build like this.
How's the sound, guys? Let me know. I'm being very careful with it. Marek playing right now. Do we put the sound up or down? I can give you more sound. I just don't want to overpower Marek speaking here.
So this is how you can build, you know, inside of the blocks, because they are not, you know, occupied.
Yeah.
Now I will show how to build. Let's say I will build here 2.5 meter block, and then another here. But what I can do right now, I will press Ctrl and I can just move the block like this. You know, this wouldn't be possible in Space 1.
Oh, Yeah, this is it. Look at this. The
Yep.
the granularity of the 25 centimeters is huge.
And what I can do again is I can select the smaller block and I can build, for example, something like this.
There's a tiny little gap there, right?
Yes, that's actually 25 centimeter gap that I made on purpose. By the way, this is how the undo redo works. So you know, let's undo.
Amazing. That's I'm going to steal this comment from a comment I saw. It'd be useful to have that in real life, wouldn't it, Murray?
Or redo.
Amazing.
And now
It's
I
super
will
satisfying as well, the sounds. And we're going to obviously talk to Lukasz in a bit. He's patiently waiting here. But yeah, the sound as well. It's like a...
So now I switch to 25 centimeter armor block, which we actually call detailing cube. And so I can fill up this space here.
Amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, let's walk here. I cannot.
Not quite. Yeah.
Yeah, there is this thing. So let's remove it. I removed that one. Okay, so let's just undo, redo.
Oh yeah. So I'm thinking, I gotta place it again. You know, even getting used to having that undo, redo in terms of your like, you know, memory.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's it. So I can be showing this for a long time, but I think we need to speed up.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a
Yeah. So let's look on partial blueprint. So the way I want to show it is I can build some of these, I don't know how they are called, these catwalks. So imagine building something like this, you know, and I will create some kind of impromptu stairs.
case, yeah.
Not the best ones, but you know, just for the demo. And what I can do is a partial copy paste. So I will select one of the
starting block, right?
Starting block, and now I press Control. Yeah, I select it.
And then you can move that out, and this is selecting a range of blocks,
Yep.
and you can control how much you copy using the WSD keys. And there you go, you've copied that. I mean, it's
now I copied it.
Yeah.
And what I can do now is that, and again, this will be the UI path here will be still improving. So,
of course.
For example, what we don't have right now is clipboard to blueprint. You know, so I need to go a little bit more complicated, but you know, it will do the job. So what I will do now is that I will come here. I will press Control B. I select this one.
And now you have this, and you can name it, you know, stairs or whatever, right? Sorry, yes, with them. My new stairs, very nice. Stairs.
And what I can do now is that I can go to the G screen. It is, and actually we can talk about G screen.
This is the G screen.
G screen,
yeah. Revealed.
So let's go to the blueprints. I can select it, and now I can put it on my toolbar.
Drag the blueprint onto your toolbar. Yep. I mean, this is again for this enables true modular building. It's incredible. Like when you start like putting, rather than building ships in the kind of classic way that you're used to in Space Engineers, you can just have like corridors and thruster nacelles, and you can kind of just stick them all together, not by like, you know, just on your toolbar, and you can place, like Marek's showing, you can place lines of them and everything.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely amazing.
And that's why I was mentioning, once you get used to this, that's why it's really hard in some ways to go back to SE1 in terms of the in terms of this building experience, because it's so much more efficient.
Yeah. So let's see the paint tool. So obviously you can do things like paint like this. You can select the size of the you know, of this circle.
Yeah.
So it can be, you know, bigger circle like this.
Huge.
But let's have it smaller, and so I can be painting like this. I can also do a pick color, so I can pick, let's say, this red here. It's the
replace one, right? You can do.
Yeah,
if you do
so now it's, you know, and I can paint with the red. Or I can pick again blue, and now when I press the middle mouse button, it will replace only this one color in the whole grid.
So you can quickly make like the classic red, blue, for example.
But if I hold the button for 3 seconds,
Countdown there, and this is, I know this will be improved, right?
it will replace the entire grid. So it looks like this.
Yeah, so it's quite good if you want to have the base color reset to a certain color and then add the detailing.
Yeah. Another cool feature is the voxel hand. So we have very nice place. Actually, I can maybe walk there.
Oh yeah, this is, so seeing some of the new station here.
Yeah. And this is the voxel hand, you can see, but I will show it here.
The lighting as well is this.
So I will just make some hole.
And there we go, just seeing the sun piercing through there, very nice. I have to read out some of these comments, Marek. Subaru says, loving the sounds of the engineered landing. Sounds heavy and meaty.
Yes, that was the point.
But look, this looks so good though. Like you will really see when you're in certain locations that shadows are like on another level here, and you can also see the tessellation. Or
yes,
yeah,
that's tessellation.
yeah.
So the details on the rocks, stones. Yeah. So jetpack. That was very important for me. So we have a jetpack, basically 2 modes. One is, we call it precision, so it's up to 20 meters per second, and it has like quite decent acceleration, and it's good for this kind of like a precision, flights when you just need to move a little bit. But if you want to fly far, you press shift and you go to boost mode.
And you can actually hear, if I turn up at it, you can actually hear it.
Yeah.
And it goes orange, very powerful. There we go. that was another thing, the animations, right?
Yes.
As we're seeing as you're landing, this was a big thing for you, and it's way more satisfying now.
Yeah. Sometimes I just like fly around and just jump and land and jump and land.
Yeah.
But actually, what I also enjoy doing is just. Sometimes I'm just doing this.
Just walking around in circles.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so good.
You're definitely here when someone's coming,
Yeah. Let me show you the Mac boots. They're really amazing now because we added camera stabilization. So.
Oh, Marek, one quick thing for the players. Could you go to the settings? We have the speed down here, right? Can you just go to the settings and change it from kilometers per hour to, because we can change it to meters per second, which you guys are familiar with in SE1, kilometers or miles per hour for.
That's for you.
Yeah, I've kind of moved past Imperial, but I think some of our US friends will. I mean, even though I know a lot of space is still done in metric, but still, you have that option now, and this is just to show that you can go up to 300 meters per second as well. It's just easier to see that quickly.
So these are the new Mac boots.
It's smoothed out.
Absolutely.
It's like much. So it's very smooth now. Okay. USA. This game just got even more freedom, Marek. So much smoother. Yeah. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna have to rewatch the stream just to read the chat. Like, it's great reading the comments. It's so hard, but there's so much going on. But thank you for being here for this. This is great.
So again, let me show you the
G screen.
The G screen. So we have all these blocks, new categories, toolbar, of course. You have a couple toolbars that you can switch to.
Yeah.
Very similar to SE1, but we try to simplify things, make them more intuitive. And let's go to the mining ship.
Yep.
So we have the mining ship here. By the way, when you press the tilde button, it kind of like assigns from the toolbar, and then tilde again and returns what was there. Mm-hmm. That's really nice.
Marek, one other thing I wanted to just coming back to the how intuitive the contextual hints, right? You see this, it's way better now for like knowing what to press and what something does. You have these contextual tooltips coming up. So the new, oh yeah, these new drills. That sound. I'm going to be turning up the sound sometimes, guys, so you can hear it in all its glory.
Yeah, and for those players who want to see the controls, you can press F1. You know, it's actually also available here, help screen, and you can see welcome from me.
Yeah.
But also you can see controls and advanced controls. But again, you know, like this looks like the game has so many controls, but what we try to do is that for the beginning, you know, like it's enough to know just something, you know, and then incrementally learn more and more and more. So like we don't want to overwhelm players with, you know, like I would never, for example, show this to a new player, you know, because it will just confuse them. Yeah.
Can you, Marek? Can you show the drills themselves when you get out next, just to show the like how they look? Players were asking. There we go. Also meaty.
Yeah.
A lot of meaty things in the game.
Again, Space Engineers 2 is
meteor.
like, it is, but it's also really reimagining what was our founding vision for Space One.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
exactly.
And going just like as much forward as we can and not doing any compromise. So yeah, and now let's go to the red ship, to the famous red ship.
And there's one block in particular, Marek, that I want you to have a look at on the right-hand side. Here it is. So you guys are looking at the 7.5 meter gyro in all its glory. So I guess if this was SE1, this would be like a large gyro, but that doesn't exist anymore. We just have grid. So this is a 7.5 meter gyro. There's a 2.5 meter gyro, which is, you know, like the north thing, but yeah, that's the, yeah, it's gonna, that's how we'll be calling all the blocks now, like by the meterage. All right, are we doing the split, Marek?
Let's try.
Okay, fingers crossed. Let's go. Full steam ahead.
Maybe I will go from the other cockpit.
Oh yeah, because you might.
Yeah, because I don't want to destroy the cockpit with me. But we have redesigned this ship completely. You know, basically like building on 25 centimeter grid system, and I think it's much better. It's much easier to orient yourself inside. And you know, you have the hangar and everything, so yeah, so let's try it.
And the new thrusters, the new thruster effects as well, Marek, there.
Yes.
And you can actually aim better with this new cockpit. We got enough speed? Actually, we're already going like 50. I don't think we had enough speed that time.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna back it up, do it again, hit it at 300. A new sound. I mean, there's like, across everywhere. There's new sounds, right? So the new thruster sound as well. And we can probably see the fractures as well on the inside, Marek. The fractures flying around. You press.
We can actually go and check it out.
Yeah, didn't split it this time, but it's okay. I've seen Marek split that ship so many times. So let's see some of these. The damage that you've done, Marek. And that's the classic, the
red ship versus blue ship.
Yeah. Oh, and we're gonna have a little peek at the green station here as well. Yeah, I'm. One of the things to mention is how moving more controls to the left hand in terms of the rotation and stuff like that.
Yes,
There's more things are done with modifiers, I think, now. Oh, you know what you should show, Marek? You should show the
You mean this tunnel?
this corridor. Yeah.
I'm
so
just
good. It's
trying to
yeah.
find it.
I think.
kind of.
Wait, even like, yeah, it's this way, out this door, there we go, and then take a right. Look at this corridor as well here. Beautiful. But my favorite corridor's coming up. If you could run down there and then through here.
Next. Okay.
Yeah, run through here and then take a right. And this take a right in here, and this is where you'll see it. To the left-hand side, other side. Sorry. So guys, I just wanted to. This is one of the things that I noticed when I first was playing. Can you see like the character's shadow cast?
Yeah, it's really small.
It's quite small on the stream, but you might be able to see a couple of pixels. But basically, you can see the engineer's shadow being cast on the asteroid, like through the tunnel there, and it's something that I don't know why. It's just a random little small thing. But when I was playing it for the first time, I was like, wow. Like, and it's super sharp as well. I can see the outline of the engineer completely. So that was something.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. And obviously there's ray tracing, and there's so many. There's on the graphical side, on the render side, there's a lot of new technologies.
Yeah, I think we can end with the destruction.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. There's no more, the debris is no more all the same, guys. It's based off of the block that it's created with. And actually, it's actually one of these reasons that creating blocks is actually more complex now, more than ever, for artists, because they have to also create them with the fractures for every block. I mean, as you guys can see, this is the debug gun tool, Marek. This is just this weapon is mainly for testing purposes and for seeing the destruction, guys. Just to kind of clarify, this is not like a polished weapon, if that makes sense. This is really just for showcasing the showcasing the destruction. All the blocks are filled with cake.
Yeah, so we developed the gun first just to test the game. Then later we realized like we probably should make it part of the creative mode. You know,
Yeah, just for people to have fun with. Yeah.
Fun with. It will not be part of survival, obviously. It's also like pretty much overpowered.
Yeah.
But we're actually investing quite a lot of effort to make it feel good. You know, so actually in next vertical slice, you will actually have a gun. You know, some kind of like laser gun in your hand.
Yeah.
There will be better sound effects for it. You will be able to destroy voxels, but it still is a debug gun.
Yeah. So does that bring us to the end of the play session today, Marek?
Yes. I hope people enjoyed.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah, it was so good to see. I think that was a very nice intro. And obviously there are more things we can build. Like I think something that I would show on the next time I would again, some of this copying and pasting is the modular building. This blueprint system is I mean, there's so much. I'm focusing on that, but then I'll switch to another. But another thing, Marek, is the armor edges as well. Just the people probably saw that, right?
Nice.
So that's also a big upgrade.
I will show it. So you can see them. All armors, they have these like soft rounded bevel.
Yeah.
And you can see them on, let's call it like small armor or like small pieces, but they are also on the bigger ones, like here. And the reason is that, it just feels more natural.
Yeah.
And more better. And it also looks better when you look on the ships from the distance.
Mm-hmm.
That, they have this little rounded bevel. They are not, like low poly. This was a big thing for us. And I'm super happy that we are able to actually deliver it. And also, since we are at it, the parallax mapping on the armor, you can see like, all these shapes and ridges and everything.
It really pops
it
now.
Pops.
Yeah,
Yes,
rather than
yes.
being that kind of flat, more flat feeling that you had in SE1. So it's feel those panels.
Yeah. And in general, the ray tracing and global illumination. I think people could see it like everywhere, basically, everywhere you look. And what I like about VRH3 and Space Engineers 2 is that almost like every frame is a picture. You know, like they have been saying in cinematography that like some movies they really try to make in a way that every frame in that movie is a masterpiece or is like a picture that you can hang on a wall. I feel the same, or I want the same for Space Engineers too.
I think one of the first competitions we do will be a screenshot competition. Sorry, I cut you off there. Will be a screenshot competition because there's so many beautiful locations. Marek, could you just quickly do let's imagine that the Reds have taken over this green station. Could you just replace the green station with red again with the paint tool? So get the paint tool and then we'll see this. Just to show, like, this is super satisfying, guys. When I was playing that you can, you know, just, well, I guess find some green, I guess.
I can replace the whole.
No.
Oh,
No, just do the middle mouse button on the green, I think. It'll probably calculate a second here. Give that a second.
Okay, and middle mouse button.
Yeah, there we go. So now if you zoom out and go out the other side, you can see how it replaced only the green with the red. So it's so satisfying for quickly iterating on, and it's weird, like I've never seen this station red. It's always been the green station. So that was something that I really enjoyed. So let's see there. Okay. Yeah, I see that. I see the height right there. I knew you guys would love the replace. Yeah. So
it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And all the reflections, lights, shadows, everything. It's beautiful.
Yeah, when you're in asteroids, there's a lot of
maybe one last. Let's focus a little bit more on the asteroids. So tessellation. So all these little details that you see here, you know, are like real geometry, not just some fake lighting. And what we also did is we call it voxel ambient occlusion. So in the distance, you can see these white areas on the voxels, on the asteroids, that are kind of like enhancing the geometrical shape, you know, and then it feels better. And actually, the geometry and the feeling, the geometry, that was always, even from the beginning, like, priority for me, because I knew that when you are building an engineering and building game, you want people to actually feel the shape and the geometry of everything. So that's what's also driving the art style, that, you know, the lighting, the shadows, and the color choices, they all need to enhance the feeling of the geometry.
No, 100%. And I think that the team have done a magnificent job. But Marek, it's coming up too much. Marek, the players are asking about the cable on the engineer's waist.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can say about that?
I I saw the comments.
Yeah. There was just too many. There was
the cable is just the cable. There is no real functionality to it.
For now. Who knows, you know. But yeah, so that was it. It was the chat was full of cable mention, even when the stream was starting. So, but it's very nice to see the cable, this like physics in the cable, right? When it lands like that. So, can we get a couple more of the landing, Marek, in the third person to see the animations there? I think we can move on for now, even though I'm sure you guys would love to see more. But there we go, landing. Bent knees. There we go. That's good. Yeah. The sound, the animation, it's, awesome. Okay, guys. So that was our gameplay session for today. Obviously, you can expect some more gameplay coming very soon. I cannot wait to share more with you guys. It's gonna be really good. And we're gonna, a bit of final destruction then, Marek. There we go.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so we're now going to, I'm going to come back here for a second. And we're back. We're back in the,
in the real world.
The real world, exactly. So I'm going to turn this down and I'm going to put this up. And I think now we're going to introduce our first guest. Is that right, Marek?
Yes.
I mean, actually, before we carry on, I'm just going to get mouse and keyboard back. Okay, I'm going to ask again, guys. I also question for the chat. I always like seeing, can you let us know where are you viewing from today? Let's see how diverse the viewers out there, all 10,000 of you guys. I'm really curious. It's like, who we got representing? Who? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just exit. Oh, that's okay. Actually, this won't. This is fine. I'll just exit the main menu here. Okay. Great. I'm gonna scroll down and see. We are first going to introduce Carol. So, Carol, I will need to. This won't be as smooth as I thought. We need an extra camera person. But, Carol, please join us here as I move to the 3-person scene. Okay, but give me a sec. I got to get up and move the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can't see him yet, chat. Hold on. Okay.
No,
You guys
not
can
yet.
check out the new. You guys can check out the new hoodie as well. There. There we go. Okay. Right. So. Almost there. Carol, welcome. I'm gonna turn.
Oh, those are loud.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine.
I can turn you down. Hold on. There we go. Plug him back in. So, Carol, guys, he has been working with. Oh, sorry. So no, I get you. Right. Go again. Your headphones.
Oh yeah,
I'm
because I
I'm turning you down.
Much better.
Is that better?
Thank you,
Sorry,
yeah.
me and Marek are obviously, our ears are obviously more ruined. Sorry about that. We have individual volumes. So me and Marek
now
are like a
it's the
couple
same, it's-
decibels up. So sorry about that. Yeah, so Carol has been with Keen Software House with a very long time. And well, tell us, Carol, how long have you been working on Keen Software House projects?
since 2012 actually.
Yeah, that's like even before Space Engineers.
Yeah.
And now here we are with Space Engineers 2.
Yeah, still unbelievable.
Yeah.
If I think about it.
And I actually, we have a thing here about playing some of the tracks, but we have been listening to these fantastic tracks throughout the stream here. So I think the stream has had some really good responses to the music. I've seen people like Epic. It's really, really great to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
And I think I wanted to ask about, I mean, I think Marek has some questions too, but what inspired you? What were some of the inspirations for the Space Engineers 2 music? You know, the theme and the and everything. You know.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it was like similar to what was Marek already saying. It's kind of like I was trying to go back with the music and identify the core elements, and then kind of build it again from that point. So it's kind of, it sounds similar in a way, but it fits to the new visuals.
Yeah.
Because it's like it cannot like let down the visuals that moved so much. So the original music, obviously, like the style that was in SE1 wouldn't fit anymore.
And I think music has such it's such an important role in the game. Like, we all know Space Engineers music, and it gives us this feeling. And again, this music right now, this is perfect. It's always at the right time. And it kind of is part of the circle that like gives you that emotions, those feelings when you're playing the game, together with sound. And we're going to talk with Lukasz in a minute about sound as well. But it's it's stunning. It really, really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, Marek, you have some thoughts on music and Space Engineers in general.
Yeah, I think music always adds the emotion. That when you just have the visuals but no music, it's missing the emotion. And when we were thinking maybe almost 3 years ago with Karel about how to do the music for Space Engineers 2, we felt that it's a story about people who travel 10,000 years. They're completely away from their home planet. They will never return because it's simply not possible. They're on their one-way path, and we want to bridge them to their ancestors. That was it. And basically like
simple ideas, but kind of executed in a way that it fits to the gigantic scape of the story.
Yeah. So like everything that all of us, we have, our ancestors, some heritage, and we look on, the music around us, like Eastern European music,
Yeah.
or some, let's
Nordic
say,
music.
Nordic music, Oriental music,
Slavic
and we
music. It's
just try to move it to the future, and of course make it epic,
Yeah.
because that's always about it, and also add some synthesizer or some more sci-fi instruments and elements.
Yeah, we had like I was trying to challenge myself as well. So I like, instead of relying on synthesizers, like there is the live orchestra, which is like a big step up in almost everything, but compared to SE1. But also I built from scratch my own hardware synthesizers, and then I was kind of like trying to fight with them to make like some sort of like a listenable sounds, and sometimes the result was like much better. And so I kept those elements, and like it enriches the space, the sound space of the music with like kind of like this improvisational aspect.
Yeah, 100%. And I say, and you just mentioned, just coming back there to the orchestra, I mentioned it earlier, and like this is a full orchestra. So how many, like, how large is this orchestra, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
80 plus players.
Wow.
So it'll be
Yeah.
like
And you really, like, obviously, like electronic instruments. There's some great packs. There's ones that are really good, but it's still is on a real orchestra is still on another level. So
yeah. There's so much experience in between the players, because like each of them is playing since they were 6, 7,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's like each of them brings their own heritage, their own mind, their own story to the music, and suddenly it's not like a matter of one person created it, but creating the music, but the sound is comprised of like 80 different, enriched by 80 different people.
Yeah. And I see people like, damn, an 80-piece orchestra, awesome. And I was going to ask about I think players will see a little bit more of behind the scenes of this as well in the coming weeks and months, right? I'm not sure if we can say anything about that right now, Marek, or yeah. So there's in January there's going to be a recording session, and this is going to be Carol's going to be there, and they're going to be filming the recording, the playing of the tracks that he's written for Space Engineers 2, and this will be so you guys will see this behind the scene footage at some point, which is going to be really, really awesome, I think. So stay tuned for a nice vlog coming soon on that. And of course, you can find all the tracks in the Pioneer Edition. This is also the biggest point of the Pioneer Edition right now. Is this? How many tracks again are there in the?
34.
34. There we go.
But we'll be adding more.
Yeah.
That's the thing, that like always what we are doing is that we are adding things like kind of backwards. So with Karel we already discussed like many more tracks, and I think many more we'll figure out as the game develops. So even people who buy the Pioneer edition, they will get these updated tracks for free, of course. By the way, the other part of the Pioneer edition is the behind the scenes material. So there will be a book or PDF with the concept arts, some testing images that we have done during the development, and I think many interesting things will be there.
Yeah, that's and again, as someone who's followed the game now internally for so long, there's some really very fascinating behind the scenes materials and concepts and images. So that's definitely going to be a treasure trove of content for you guys to kind of enjoy. So let me think here. We covered I haven't got the banner, but we saw the banner in the blog post. So this was again beautiful banner with Carol's signature. That was a cool touch there.
Yeah, it was.
Really cool. And I guess like thinking like how long on average does it take to go from the kind of concepting of a track to finishing? I'm sure it varies depending on the complexity, right? But
yeah, it's like sometimes it can be like some of the tracks were done in like improvisation basically, because it was like 3 years back when we started and we didn't have that many like that concrete ideas. We actually came together into a studio with three players and just improvised on like the outline of the story, and some of it stuck and like is actually in the soundtrack. Some of it didn't, but that's the improvisation. So that was quick, because that was a matter of a few hours. But then there was like there was one theme I remember that was Marek really liked how it started, and then I was like, okay, but how I should extend it, because it had like 30 seconds, and I was like, it should have an ending, but it took like so much time, like few days to come up with like, I don't know, 5 notes.
No, I bet
finish
really.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Carol, it has been a pleasure. So it's a short visit. We'll probably have to do a dedicated Carol stream. It's an honor to have him here, honestly.
My pleasure.
Any kind of final like message to the space engineers community? You're here right now, Carol. So this is the moment.
I hope you will enjoy the soundtrack, and that you will not turn the music down in the menu.
There you go. Keep that sound boosted up. Thank you so much, Carol,
you
for
so
joining
much.
us, and
Thank you,
we'll see you
Carol.
soon. Thank you for your hard work. It's
Thank you.
incredible.
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, guys. So it's gonna be flying through here. Next up, joining us is Lukash. Come on in, Lukash. Mind the cables, as there is a bit of a. Good to see you, man. Welcome.
Hello, guys.
And I believe, and there's just some headphones there for you.
I'm happy I can't see all the people in front of me.
Yeah,
because-
there's maybe 1 or 2 watching. So, I was gonna say, Carol, this is your first time on a live stream, but
Yeah,
sorry,
it is.
Carol, sorry, I'm Lukash. Sorry, I'm Luke. I'm all over the place. It's your first time on a stream, Lukash, and but you've also been with Keen Software House for a long time. So, like, tell us some more about your history and when you've kind of met Marek and started working on Keen Software House projects.
I remember meeting Marek in a small flat in Prague, David's with a couple of programmers, and we started to develop the first Mine Wars game. So that was a great memory to compare with today, where we are today. And so I'm helping Kin Software House same time like Karel Antonin, like since Mine Wars 2012 or 11. And it was always fun because it was very interesting. We had medieval engineers, space engineers, and different projects. And I always wanted to enjoy the work. It was not like work just for money, but it was, my dream that came true, And do you have the snippets?
The snippets are on the stream today, unfortunately. So I couldn't get the snippets on there.
Okay,
but
so
we can cover them. But I know there's a lot of things to cover. So in the sense that we've been talking about sound just today, right?
Yeah.
And we can talk again about some of the historical sound. I think one of the ones was the realistic sound mode, right? This is something I know you wanted
so I will be very, very brief.
Yeah.
At the realistic sound, you know how the space engineers sounds, but we were developing also the realistic mode that was inspired by the Gravity movie, and that's more realistic in the sense that in the vacuum you can't hear sound, so you can hear just the sounds that are connected to the grid you are connected to, and all the sounds are a bit different. They are more muffled, and it's a bit different experience.
It's just through like vibrations and things that you feel.
Yeah,
through
it's
the
about
suit.
vibrations.
Yeah.
It's about low bassy sounds, and so it's great. I would say most players even don't know about this mode, but it is there. So and it's
a lot of work, for sure.
One of the games, one of the hidden games. But I would say we will not put it into Space Engineers 2, because we will focus on the main mode. And but for example, for medieval engineers, maybe you remember all the wooden gear things and all the wooden stuff. So me and my friends, we created a real wooden gear just to have some model to record, because I couldn't get these sounds from internet or whatever. So
and so something you had to create from scratch, and that's one of the fun things. I think obviously sound designers, you obviously do a lot with like creating things electronically, but also like creating real world objects and items and banging and doing all kinds of things so that you can create these unique things. It's amazing, honestly. And I know it just in today's playthrough, people were really commenting on how great the sound was. Like they said it was meaty, right? The sounds of like the walking on the grid, like the kind of crunchiness walking on the asteroids. So you guys are already hearing Lukash's work from that gameplay earlier, and I think players really kind of noticed that, as well as the visuals and the features and stuff. Was like, wow, that sound is super nice. So you did a fantastic job on that for sure, man.
Yeah, but it's also our co-creation with Marek, who is basically director of the sound design. So we are co-creating together and developing the sound. We were just kicked off, so stay tuned to all the new details, all the new sounds that we plan to do, and also, you know, as you said before, like my style to work is to use all the possibilities we have. Yeah, we can record something, we can design something. So that's.
And talking about what you're working on, I know we're not talking too much about future vertical slices, but I wanted to talk a little bit, just briefly, if you can, about water sound design.
Yeah.
Because obviously that, I mean, maybe you can't say too much right now, but again, this is going to be something, you know, challenging, right? Like, I'm not sure if or maybe Marek has something on this.
Well, I think we didn't start, you know, working on the water sound design yet.
Planning ahead.
Yeah. But because we're really like absolutely focused just on the creative.
Of course.
Now we will be super focused on planets and survival. And but I'm sure we will figure out something unique, because with the sound we always wanted to make you feel the environment and maybe even some emotions. And I also want to thank the engine team that is helping Lukáš to actually integrate, you know, the sounds to the game, because it's not just about sound design. You also need to have the code part
in the game. Yeah, of course.
You need to, let's say, detect some events, or, you know, some information needs to be synchronized, and so they also do a lot of good work. But then Lukáš, he gives it, you know, that kind of juicy feeling, and that's what I like. And what I also like about collaboration with Lukáš, and this is why we are together for so long, is that he just tries to push the quality. But also, if I ask him, you know, like, let's push it even more, like, he never says no, you know, like, we just continue and just like go after it's finished, and we don't have fights or anything like that. So that's really good. Plus, Lukáš, he comes himself with his own ideas, and so it's not me telling him what to do.
Taking
like,
initiative,
basically,
and
it's together.
Yeah.
So yeah, very initiative. So that's nice. And of course, he knows much more about the sounds in Space Engineers 2 than I can know, because there are so many also details about, you know, the integration of the VRH3 engine, F mode, and then the actual, you know, WAV files and everything. So it's really good that Lukáš is taking care of this.
100%. And I say, like, you've heard it already, guys. You've heard it for years. Lukáš's hard work, and you're going to hear a lot more of it in the future. So it's going to be very, very exciting.
I would also like to hello to Dominik Ragančík, who has been helping us with sound sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, also
who made big pack of sounds for Space One. So he's somewhere on Slovakia, and
big shout out, Dominik. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, definitely. Fantastic. So, any finishing words? Again, it's been such a blast. Like, it's such a, you know, we have so much to get through, but we definitely need a dedicated Lukáš sound design stream where we can do, you know, an hour just of you, pure Lukáš, and we can talk in detail. I'm sure the chat would love to talk to you directly and answer questions about your amazing work. So we should definitely schedule that for the, you know, the upcoming months. I think this would be, because again, today we've had music on, we've had sound on. There's obviously other elements of the team who I'm sure we will also bring on in the following streams. But I want you to thank you so much for coming out today and joining us in the stream, Lukáš.
Okay.
Any kind of again, final comments, words to the community who are watching today?
Also, as you said, I would like to thank all the coder programmer guys who are helping us with the sound, because it's a cooperation of a big team, so like that. So and we are going for more variability of the sounds, because
consistency and stuff.
Because in Space One we had, like, for example, 10 footstep sounds, you know, printed and just playing them at random. And here we have like 3 layers that each layer has 12 different sounds, and it is being modified each hit, so it should be much more rich and much more interesting.
Yeah.
I believe.
Just like the rest of the game, just taking everything to another level in terms of level of fidelity and immersion. So it's, I mean, hats off to you, man.
Yeah, but definitely I will take my time to do all the sounds, because it's a long process.
Yeah.
And we will go step by step as the features comes. So thank you guys.
It sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lukasz.
Yeah.
We will see you very soon. Keep up the hard work.
Yeah.
And I say, I'm just going to use this to, guys, Space Engineers 2 Alpha, January 27th. You're going to hear those sounds for yourself in like just over a month. So you can pre-order already right now 2.spaceengineersgame.com. And you can already pre-order. I see the link in the chat there. Thank you guys for linking that. So you can pre-order and very soon get stuck in. And again, those sounds will be very much part of your experience. So yeah, I love it. There we go. Thanks so much, man. Thank you
for your work. Yeah.
Thank you, Lukasz.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So we have our final guest, in-person guest of the night, who's going to join us now. Is he here?
I don't see him.
Oh, okay. Well, we can just talk for a second. Okay, I think he's waiting. Okay, Chenda.
Maybe he's on the stream.
Chenda, I know it's a bit late, but I think you are in the building somewhere. So now is the time to come.
No, he's running.
Yeah, I did tell him I'd give him a heads up on stream, but it suddenly happened. So we're going to hear from... Oh, he's coming up the stairs.
He's
Here we
coming.
go. I'm going to put his name up. There we go. And there will be some Q&A as well, guys. Don't worry as well. Yes, join us, Chenda. Come. Welcoming Jan Glosek, technical director. Is it V-Rage 3 technical director here, or is it Space Engineers 2 technical director, or both?
Yeah, I would say Space Engineers 2.
You have headphones there as well, man.
All the teams, or like technical. Hello, guys. Where is the camera?
Yeah,
Hello.
here. And of course, I'm going to scroll down to our section with you here. Here we go. And if this is render, we have a whole section for you. Here we go. So,
Did it take long before I got here? Because on my stream there was quite a big delay.
No,
I
it was
didn't
actually
hear
really
it.
quick. No,
Really?
actually, it actually happened. I was surprised how quick you were coming. We thought you were
on
like
the stream I still saw Lukasz talking, and I came in and he was sitting there. It was like, wow.
That's it. That was good
What's
timing. No, it
happening?
was good timing.
Okay.
We need more chairs.
Yeah.
But obviously, Chenda, we got to say, this is the day. This is the day that we've all been waiting for. That you and your team have been working so hard on for years now. So I just want to first ask, how do you feel to be announcing Alpha of Space Engineers 2 coming next month?
It is a big thing, definitely. Like, I really enjoyed the playthrough.
Yeah.
It looked amazing on the stream. So, really good job.
Yeah, it also
to
felt
everyone.
good.
And I think that the stream, we might have missed it, guys. What did you think of the playthrough earlier, the little gameplay session we had? Was it good? I saw some comments, but yeah, it was, I think they really, Ayo, the Twitter guy. Yes, of course, you may have seen Chenda's posts over the recent years, and I definitely been drumming up hype for V-Rage 3 development, no doubt, Chenda.
Thank you.
So I think we'll first start, again, lot to get through as on every topic we have here, but I first want to start about the team, to tell us a little bit more how the team is composed and how big is the team now?
Yeah. So, like, we started almost 4 years ago now with with very small team, like 5 people, which were like old timers from the Space Engineers development. And we started with some like research, etc., and started to grow the team and hiring, etc. So over the years, we now grew to 35 people. Most of the core members that were there at the beginning are now leaders of the teams.
Yeah.
And we had to split so many people into like smaller teams, so it's kind of manageable and people can communicate like efficiently and etc. And we can plan the work for them. So we have now like dedicated team for engine, for render, for tools, which we will be releasing next year as well.
Yeah.
Not immediately, but later on with modding. I'm looking forward to it.
Then this is a big deal, actually. We'll kind of, I think we'll touch on it a bit more here. But yeah, you've again mentioned how the scaling of the team and team members who've been with us for a while, kind of working up through the ranks, which is great because it's experience with the engine, experience with our games and everything like that, which has been really great to see. So I guess we have these different teams, which you want to give the breakdown here of the different names of the teams that we have.
Yeah, I didn't mention game team. That's of course like the biggest one actually, because like although we started with just engine, but very soon on we started to develop the game as well, because like creating just engine doesn't matter without like having some user, let's say someone that is using the engine, right? Which helped us immensely to steer the engine towards the current state. And last but not least, we have R&D team, which is led by Petr Minařík, and he's doing the water at the moment, which will be also big thing for the space engineers too. So
we'll definitely get him on at some point.
Yeah.
We did a water stream actually quite a while ago now, but we'll definitely get Petr back. It'll be. I mean, water's been for a long time. Like even it's one of the big talking points about V-Rage. All the videos and screenshots that you've been sharing it's going to be huge for sure. So amazing work in the R&D team there as well. So we have this link. This is good. So
what I wanted to say, just like the playthrough was amazing. The game was like running smoothly, no crashes, and that's exactly thanks to this like amazing team. So like good job, guys.
It all came together, right?
Really good.
All the work of all the teams has to come together like in this kind of like harmony to have something like that we saw on our screen.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of work.
Actually, like scaling the team in 3 to 4 years, from 5 to 35, and still not collapsing, and still like delivering actually like polished title. That's something I haven't yet experienced.
Good
really.
Stuff. Very good stuff.
We were really very lucky with the team that we hired.
And I say we so obviously touching on the teams there, but we obviously you have some, I guess, key topics of what we've already talked about. Marek's covered some of it, but like what takes Space Engineers 2 / V-Rage 3 to the next level in terms of scale and detail. And we have like the topics, the large world, right? So maybe you can kind of cover some of these big topics.
Yeah. Essentially, before we started the development of the game, we were certain that V-Rage 2 wouldn't be up to the task. That we wanted to scale much more. We wanted to build much more in Space Engineers 2. So we knew that we need different engines. So at the start, we were like, okay, should we develop new engine from scratch? Because the architecture needs to be completely redone. So we couldn't just like change it, like iteratively. We had to start from scratch. Or should we use some other engine? There are many engines off the shelf, like Unreal, Unity, etc. And we were, of course, unsure how to deal with this. And we spent quite significant amount of time at the beginning, like almost half a year, to doing research, like testing various like hard problems that Space Engineers needs to have solved, like large worlds or stable physics or like huge flying ships, right, which you can adjust anytime, etc., etc. And we were testing it in various engines, and essentially we haven't found the engine that would off the shelf support it. We would have to like bend it a lot or like rewrite it, and we just found out that it would be very risky to go for this path because there is some signaling.
It's okay. No, okay, they're just Lukáš is talking to me off stream. It's okay, sorry.
Yeah, so it would be very risky because we wouldn't be sure whether we can actually deliver it. Some of those engines are closed source, some of them are very complicated, so it's hard to do the changes, etc. So in the end, we figure out that we should do VRH3, and we started from scratches.
Yeah. That's again. I was talking very earlier about it being a strong foundation, right? That's the main thing. It's a foundation to build upon in the years to come. And this process of reviewing all the different engines out there, like it took, it went on for quite a while, but you really, at the end, it was the conclusion. Well, hey, we should probably just focus on VRage.
Yes, I think it's paying off. Like,
yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And like, of course, we weren't just testing the engines, like the game engines, but we were also looking into like example physics libraries or AI libraries, whatever can we kind of use to combine into the final engine. And one of the tests we were doing, like we were checking all the physics libraries that are out there, and like people were asking about rotors and pistons, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing in space engineers, having stable physics and being able to build really complicated contraptions and which don't clank ideally, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of the like things that we were doing. John, maybe can you play the Havoc test?
Let's see.
So this is one of the tests that we did in.
Okay, give me a second. I can do it. I can do it. I didn't have it here. But
No problem.
Let's see.
We essentially created like stress test in Unreal, but using the newest Havoc, because Space Engineers 1 are using like Havoc 2012, and we wanted to check where the Havoc kind of developed over the years, right? 10 years later.
Okay, is it? No, I haven't got it in the box here, but you guys can see. I'll just I'll just leave it on the screen a second for you guys to see what we're talking about. I had to drag that on so they can see that playing.
And
there.
so we created some like various like contraptions with high mass differences and problematic parts that were in SE kind of not stable, wiggling a little or not. And in the end, we found out that the Havoc 2020 is amazing stability of the physics. So we chose that for the final game. And like you can see it, of course, or you will be able to see it already in the Vertical Slice 1 in creative, but without rotors and pistons. That will come later.
Yeah.
Not yet planned when.
So obviously a huge part of these mechanical blocks, obviously a big part in terms of seeing some of the craziest and most amazing creations that we've seen. So we again feel free to if there's a topic here that you want to hit first, but obviously we touched on modding as well, and what can you give us like a preview of what these tools might look like and what it could open up for the modding ecosystem?
Yeah, like space engineers are for us quite a benchmark because it was heavily modded game and it was also quite easy to mod. Like in terms of like very simple data structures that players could like edit and add and adjust, and it was quite understandable how to do it. So it was our starting point, of course. We want to do better. We want to do it as well understandable and simple, but also give players tools to do it. So in Space Engineers, you had to do it through Notepad, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Now you will have editor where you can kind of have tooltips, which will give you further informations about various properties, etc. that you can be changing. And you can go even further. In SE, you could just create a new block or change a block. And here we can, or actually you could just create new blocks, right? And here you can take some vanilla block and just adjust it. And then you will load the world with this mod, having all the blocks there adjusted as you did. So not just adding new blocks. And we call it partial override. which means you will take existing data, override them, and you can even like chain mods. So you can build upon other mods
Yeah.
and adjust whatever data they have there, which I think will be pretty powerful tool.
No, I
And
mean, definitely. I mean, I think, you know, modding is being a huge part of Space Engineers 1 and the ecosystem. But I think, I keep saying it, we keep saying it, but I think modding also will be on another level when it comes to this game. You know, it's going to be very, very cool. And the tools to support that will also be on another level. So very exciting stuff, and that will come with time.
And we are of course dog fooding this, so the editor is used for internal development. You will
Yes.
get the same editor that we are using for developing the game. So it's kind of very important to us so the editor is as like polished or you have good user experience, because essentially we can develop the game more efficiently.
Super. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
And maybe
yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry.
one
yeah.
last thing. Just I think Marek already mentioned it,
Yeah.
but first update, the modding update will be about data modding, not scripting. Scripting will come later
Okay.
with the survival update, I believe. So first you will get the modding where you can create new block or adjust existing block, create skybox and various data driven adjusting any data in the game essentially, or voxels. But the scripting will come later with survival update.
Yeah, there you go. That probably will answer some questions as well there. Do we want to hit the roadmap? Does it kind of approach?
Yeah. So essentially, from the beginning, with the development, we created a plan how we want to develop the game, what features we want to have, and we kind of structured it into roadmaps so it's clear when we will be done and what will be done, and that's like very important part here. Of course, we are adjusting after every milestone. We adjust like what went right, what went wrong, adjust the roadmap a little, but kind of we have a plan, and thanks to that, you can also see now some future plan, which we never did before. We kind of get into this rhythm of milestones where we can deliver them in some specific time, and now we can also have public roadmap, which is, I think,
That
really
is a
good.
big deal. I know, and players have been really asking for us to have this more, greater transparency in terms of having something that they can roughly see what's maybe not necessarily exactly when, but the order at which,
Yeah,
so.
it's important not to put dates
Exact
there
dates, yeah,
because
that's
like
dangerous.
date slip.
Yeah.
That happens,
And
unfortunately.
they need a slip sometimes, if you just hit it for the sake of the date, then bad things could happen. So, we hit the cycle here, and I think this is good here. So we have about the. I think if in general, if you want to choose things that you want to cover from this,
I think
agenda.
what I can just touch on, but Mark talked about it quite a lot about
Yeah.
like new features of the engine and
data or
what we are. I will just touch on essentially the reason why we create a new engine is to have new architecture to support like much larger scale worlds. Although the architecture is there, it's working well. We are just getting started. Like it's definitely there is long road ahead. We don't have all the pieces in. It's like you can imagine it like Lego. Like we will be building on top of it. And for example, we have like data-oriented
that's a big
approach,
point.
which is a big thing where we essentially can process data much faster and process much more blocks, etc. It helps us.
and it's scalable as well, right? That's the
And in the future, it will be scalable. Not now,
okay,
because like we don't have it parallelized yet.
right.
So that will come in some of the future updates where you suddenly have like bigger wallets. And that's what Mark mentioned, that the PCUs that you get now are the starting point. We'll be working on that. And of course, there are other huge things like latest Havoc, latest physics from Havoc, having ray tracing for global illumination. We have like DirectX 12 renderer, like completely written from scratch, which has GPU-driven pipeline. Essentially, all the processing of the rendering is not running on the CPU. So we freed all the threads that were culling and instancing, etc., on the CPU in Space Engineers, and they will be in the future free to do actual processing of blocks or scripts, whatever will be running there. So that's for me also a huge thing. It's an investment, essentially.
I just thinking I think there was a question maybe, and I think you answered it here actually. Is there anything that's from the renderer which is being carried over?
A few things.
Yeah.
Post-processing, for example, the tone mapping, eye adaptation, bloom. Those are like essentially same as in Space Engineers. And that's maybe it for the rendering. Yeah. We also brought over in the engine voxels.
Okay. Yeah.
Or as a starting point, but they were heavily rewritten.
Oh, of course.
Lots of improvements.
They look so much better.
Yeah, of course, they look better. But especially planets, there were so many changes that it's almost like different piece of code.
Yeah.
So these two parts, I think, are the only that particles. Actually, that's a funny thing.
Oh yeah.
Particles were the first thing that I've written in the Keen when I joined.
Okay.
And they are still brought into, but also like I just
improved, of course.
Improved,
yeah.
But that was brought over from Space Engineering.
Great. Yeah. I think I've forgotten that was your first thing in Keen. Wow. Yeah. So it's a long time now. Again, how long have you been in Keen now? 8 years?
Yeah, that's 8 years.
Yeah. It's been a wild journey for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Chendo, for everything. I think without you, Phase 2 and MVRH 3 wouldn't exist, to be honest. So thanks for being such a good tech director.
Thank you, Marek.
And we've talked a little bit about the code base here and some of the technology, and I guess just again, some of this is obviously a repeat. We've covered it throughout, but maybe just some of the things that are coming in the future, the things that you're working on actively right now or will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was already mentioned, right? Like for me, big thing will be modding. There will be few other updates before, like UGC. That's a big thing for the game and community, right? You will suddenly be able to share the creations easily with others. That's like,
and this will come via mod.io.
Yes, we are deliberately choosing mod.io because in Space Engineers originally it was Steam Workshop, which is great. Like I love Steam Workshop.
We all do. Yeah.
But it's not on all platforms. Like if we want to in the future go to consoles, there is no Steam Workshop. So in Space Engineers there was this like complication always. You had to split between communities where you had to upload to two like mod.io and Steamworks, and it was kind of like complication. So we wanted to simplify it for the players to use just the mod.io.
Okay, that's okay.
So then of course modding, big thing, and planets. Like planets, we want to do so much things there. I'm just looking forward to it. It will be, but it will be also a huge challenge. Like maybe you guys remember I was like sharing on Twitter lots of in progress imagery from the planets because we already invested a lot of time into that and effort, but we are far from what we kind of want to deliver. So there will be lots of work on there. And I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean,
look beautiful.
Some of the teasers, and there was some in the blog post, like the shots that come out of the planets are incredible. And you've been sharing these, and the planets with the water, the different environments. It's really, really stunning. I have a question here. I saw asked. It's a dangerous question, but will Clang return?
Well. Hopefully, as we chose Havoc deliberately to be
Clang
as
2.0.
stable as possible,
Right.
it won't return.
Okay.
But you never know.
you never know when he might, when it might, might rear its head. So.
But our plan is no Clang.
Oh, plan is no Clang.
Yeah.
Okay, so Clang is dead. Long live Clang, 2.0.
Well,
we'll see.
The plan is not in the roadmap, so we will see how it will.
Right, yeah. It doesn't
end
have
up.
Clang in the roadmap itself. No, definitely not. Okay, so that's a question that I did see come up here. So, I guess we covered a lot here, but just to cover, I guess, just talking a little bit about the biggest challenges. I mean, maybe they're probably what the things we already talked about. The biggest challenges of Space Engineers 2 development and how the team kind of overcame those.
Mm-hmm.
If you can say the biggest, I guess there's probably been a lot. So,
Like, what was the biggest challenge was probably like polishing the game into the state that it's here, because we kind of were all the time almost done. But now the final stretch in the last half a year where the things started to click. Like, guys, if you would see the game half a year ago, that's completely different story.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
It's unimaginable how it transformed in the last half
Really
year,
came
so-
together. No, I mean, I've obviously myself and others at Keen have been following along, and I honestly, when it was first said, like, hey, we're gonna launch in January 2025, I was like, wait, really? Because we obviously were planning, just because it happened so quick. Suddenly, everything came together, and it was like, wow, this is a beautiful, stunning game that's already takes so many elements to a whole nother level. It's amazing, and we saw that culmination in that gameplay session. I really think it was. I have to admit, it did go very well. Actually, I knew it was going to be good, but it was a good job, Marek, on the play session.
Yeah, I'm a good gamer.
He's a pro gamer, MLG and all that. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I've actually got one. This is probably too loud. I have a button here for this, but it's probably too loud. Maybe. There we go. We have the new stream setup here, so we have like, go Marek.
You haven't used it.
I know, because I was trying to keep things very professional, but in the future Keen streams, you can imagine, like, hey, what's going on, gamers? Yeah. So anyway, next time. Anyway, let's bring it back down. Okay, so so that was something that, and then again, it's some of the next challenges, but I think it kind of is all these things that are coming, right? Like the planets. There's so many challenges still to overcome. So
Yeah, and multiplayer will come at some point. I'm looking forward to that. Like, this time around, we prepared ourselves in the architecture already. So our code is actually split into server parts and client parts. It's no longer like mix where we just conditionally check if it's client or if it's server. So I'm very much looking forward how this will pan out. Even in single player, even in the game that you will be playing now in the creative, there is actually server scene and client scene, and there is replication in between already. So it's kind of like ready for multiplayer, like in the whole architecture level. So adding the networking layer and making the multiplayer run well will be really something I'm looking forward to. The architecture will pay off.
And I know that's going to be something that people are going to be very hotly anticipating for sure. It's always a big part of this. Again, the Space Engineers ecosystem right now is fun with friends, right? So that's obviously going to be very important. But like all the vertical slices, very important to get right. That's the main thing. And it's like, sure, you can throw together something, but the idea, I'm just again reinforcing here, the development strategy, guys, is that the vertical slices, these areas will be, the vertical slices are polished, and once they're polished, then they're kind of launched, rather than something that's half baked or something like that the team isn't happy or proud of, right? That's the key thing here. So
we will definitely focus on always one thing at a time, survival planets or multiplayer, or one or two things, let's say, and deliver the polished experience when it's ready.
Yeah. For sure. So I think again, because obviously we are we are over time by just a little bit here, but we do want to definitely just address some final questions. And you can stay for this, Chenda. We're gonna bring in our final guest who's gonna join us virtually here. So let me just do that. I hope just giving the signal to the virtual guest to join the link that we had earlier. Let me have a look. Feel free if there's anything you want to just add about development, Chenda. I'm just going to quickly see.
Yeah, just there were some issues with our website and Steam also. Like
I know the timing, right?
I'm just curious whether our players just crashed the Steam, but it's working now. So guys, you can now go to our website. You will see the Space Engineers 2 there, and you can go to Steam and search for Space Engineers 2. It's there, it's live, it's working. You can pre-order.
It's happening. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our final guest. Introducing Aaron, new community manager. Let's bring him in. See here. You don't see him. Give me a second. That was weird. Working on it. Let me just. Oh. Oh, there we go. Aaron. We can hear you quietly. Hold on. Where are you coming out of? I'm going to turn down the music here. Go again, Aaron.
Hello, do you hear me now?
I do hear you. Welcome.
Oh, lovely, great. It's working. We've got a bit of a lovely Q&A to wrap up on, haven't we? Really, you probably answered all the questions. To be fair, though.
Yeah, give me just. I'm gonna do. Oh, that's what I wanted. Perfect. That was the view I wanted there. So yeah, Aaron. I mean, you've been watching from behind the scenes here, like this launch, this announcement here. So I know I haven't been able to monitor the chat that well, so that's why we brought you in here. You're off to my side here to kind of give us some of the hottest questions that the community is asking and wondering. It's good to have you here, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Hi,
Yeah,
hi Aaron.
Absolutely. Hello. It's been absolutely kicking off in the chat. It has been crazy. So what we're going to do is try and get some questions to you. But like I said, you've probably answered most of them. So let's go over them.
All right, ready. I'm gonna bring. I know you've got something here as well. I'm gonna bring up here.
Right, you're standing by. Okay, so the first one that we're going through is: will Space Engineers 2 be a direct sequel to the original Space Engineers in terms of universe, in terms of story?
It's for Marek.
Yes. So I would say it's a reimagination of Space Engineers 1. That's how I think about this. And it's also adding new things like the story, NPCs, and water.
Lovely. The next question has been answered so much, but we'll ask it again. What new features will Space Engineers 2 introduce?
Mm-hmm. So NPCs, water, new unified 25 centimeter grid system, new visuals, new physics, new engine, which means better potential for optimizations, story, I'm not sure if I mentioned, and lore, living world. So again, and yeah, the most important thing actually for me is the intuitiveness. So like really pushing the intuitiveness of the controls and the game 10x.
Yeah, again, well, this is just again summarize what we said earlier. It's more intuitive, but again, also allows for greater freedom at the higher end, of the advanced level. So both ends of the kind of building and like, I guess almost like spectrum are expanded. Like it's better as a starting player, it's better as a more advanced player. So
yeah. So intuitiveness and flexibility.
Lovely indeed. Now the next question was just briefly covered before, but will Space Engineers support mods and how will it support them? You explained briefly before, will it support them on Steam?
Yeah, so mods were always important for us, and I think they're behind, like one part of the success of Space Engineers. So we'll support mods. It will be actually one of the first few vertical slices where we'll release the Virage editor and Virage hub, where players will be able to mod blocks and other assets. And then a little bit later, there will be also scripts or modding API. And
Okay.
yeah.
Next question is in which vertical slice can they expect multiplayer?
It's the fourth one. So just to repeat the roadmap, vertical slice 1, that's the one that will be in January 27, will be creative mode. Then there will be a few smaller ones. So the first one will be UGC Mod.io workshop. The second one will be many small intuitiveness and kind of like gameplay improvements. Then there will be VS 1.5, which will be the modding and the editor. Then there will be VS2, which is planets and survival. VS3 will be water and a new planet, Biblos. And then VS4 will be multiplayer, and VS5 will be NPCs, and so on. And this plan actually can maybe change in some small details, that when during development we figure out that, some slightly different order makes sense, or that some things we can actually move closer to now. So actually that's even how we created this VS11, 12, 15, was that we just picked some things from VS2 and moved them earlier. You know? So we don't need to be kind of pushing everything, but we can release faster and smaller increments.
Lovely. What significant changes can we expect to survival?
I mentioned the backpack building and the projection building. Other than that, there is also like better focus on projection and game loop. So basically making sure that the game has some goals, and you can be progressing somewhere and going after something. And going back to backpack building, the idea is that you are mining resources, your backpack can process them, and you can directly build. You don't need to go through the complex and slow refining and assembling loop, but you can do it directly just with your backpack. So I personally am looking forward to this. When we were playtesting it 6 months ago, basically before we started to work on VS1, like directly on VS1, we were finishing one of the milestones, which was the survival. So we already have some prototype of this backpack building, and for me it was like a wow moment. It was I just mined and I'm building here something, And the other thing is the projection building. So you build a projection, like very similarly to how you build in creative mode. You don't need resources. It's just a projection in front of you. You can use symmetry mode and you will probably be able to use undo, redo and these kind of things. And then you just come there and weld it. And again, it's different experience in my opinion than having to weld, having to spend time to get the resources, process them, then actually remember what components you need for what block and so on. So backpack building and projection building will make this much more easier, but at the same time, the flexibility will be there, the same or actually much higher.
Mm-hmm. So for example, backpack building will be slower, right, for the start of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, less
if
efficient.
you want to, less efficient, so if you want to build like big, you will probably need refineries, assemblers.
And also blocks. As you will be progressing, you will get access to like more advanced blocks. And at some point, they will need components that cannot be created in the backpack. You need refinery. And actually, there is a whole plan for like different kinds of refining, like smelter block and so on.
Yeah.
And what I really like is the projection building, because essentially you can plan ahead what you are building, right?
Yeah.
Like in Space Engineers, you could use
the
projection.
Yeah. But it's this different thing, right?
You would have to prepare it in creative mode, save it as a blueprint, then go to the... But here you can directly build the projection, which is like just awesome thing.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Another kind of gamification thing is that you actually see what you are welding. You see the end goal because you see the projection. So maybe you can even see like how many blocks you are still, missing from being welded. And so I think it's good, especially for people, because people like to see the goal, to be tangible, not just something abstract, but you like to see your goal. So I think projection building will help with this too.
Awesome. Are we ready for another question?
Yes.
Right. So the next one is, you mentioned briefly before that there'd be more of a focus on AI and NPCs in Space Engineers 2. Could you go into that in a bit more detail?
Yeah, so AI NPCs, human NPCs, that live in some stations. They have their routines, they do their thing. Or let's say you will encounter some ship somewhere, there will be people inside that you have to fight with, and so on. So we actually already did a lot of prototypes on the AI NPCs in Village 3 two years ago. And it was interesting. For example, one of the prototypes that is still in my memory was using a technique called goal-oriented action planner, and we simply gave a goal to the NPC that he has to gather resources and build, some block or weld some block. And because this AI knows, like, if I want to achieve this goal, I need this thing, and for that thing, I need some another thing. So it can create these kind of plans. And it was very interesting that the NPCs decided to go somewhere, start mining, brought back the resources, welded the block. It felt very agentic. So, like the agent or the AI had some kind of agency and goal. That was really nice. So, but again, the NPC vertical slice is at least 1 year from now. So I'm not even thinking about it right now. Like, I'm just, now I was focusing on creative mode, and now I'm kind of refocusing on planets and survival. But actually, even before that, there is VS 1.1.1 to 1.5. So, plenty of things to focus on.
Yeah, and I think the difference is that, like, the fact that we're talking about it, like we're saying that next year, well, not next year, not necessarily, but the fact that this is coming. Yeah, Chen is like planets and everything else, still. But it's the point is that's part of the vision, guys. That's a part of the vision for Space Engineers 2, and it's going to be vital for that living world. Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Lovely. Let's move on to the next question then. So the next question you've answered already. Of course, Space Engineers is going to be available on consoles, so it's pretty much a yes.
Yeah, yes, eventually yes. During early access, we'll be focusing on PC because it's much easier
for rapid development.
Yeah, for rapid development and everything. But eventually, it will be on consoles or all consoles. At least that's the plan. And we have now one new team member who is working just on the consoles and nothing else, and he's very experienced senior programmer with like console development experience. So I think that will help.
Right, lovely. The next question that we've got for you, we're only going to do 2 more if that's all right, because we are getting close to the sort of time limit. So how will Space Engineers 2 improve in performance in terms when it comes with larger builds?
Maybe Chendo can answer.
Yes. So as I said, like we kind of started with data-oriented and parallelization, etc. But we are not yet there. So it will gradually roll out during like future vertical slices. With each want to like improve the performance further, and I think we'll get to much higher performance than SE. Even now, we are already kind of on par. In some things better, but at least we are the same. And going forward, we want to leverage the new architecture much more. Bigger builds.
Cool.
Right, and then that brings me to kind of my final question. When can we expect Space Engineers 2 to be released?
I mean, I think you mean out of early access.
Out of early access, yes. When can they get their hands on it?
1.0, I guess.
When can they get their hands on the game?
Yeah. Like we don't want to, commit to any date or anything like that. But I would say, like roughly speaking, 3 years. Give or take 2 years. So that's that. Basically, we want to deliver what we believe is the complete experience, and then we can start like building upon it, but we want to get to this complete experience that is the core of Space Engineers 2 as fast as we can, without, let's say, adding unnecessary features. That's what I want to say, or like like side questing to some unnecessarily things and so on. So we really want to like super focus on what is making Space Engineers 2, and we want to get there as fast as possible. I think maybe we can get there in 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't think not. I don't think it will be more than that. And then we'll of course keep continuing supporting the game and adding some completely new features that we haven't even discussed here.
Yeah, definitely.
But as fast as possible, but polished.
Yeah,
right?
polished.
That's very
Yeah.
important. Not feature rich, like not going wide, but really.
Yeah.
And I feel
in-depth.
like it will kind of come back to what we said at the very beginning about who this alpha is for. And I think some players will probably choose to join us later down the road when there's more features, maybe even out of early access. I know there's plenty of people who decide they don't want to buy early access, which is fine. I think, how did you word it earlier, Marek? That this is this is to join us on this journey to make this game amazing for you, together with the community and pioneers, I guess, right? I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And I think people who will join us during the early access, I think they will get more than what's the cost of the game, and like already me myself when I'm playing the game, experiencing the visuals and everything, like I kind of don't need more in a sense, you know what I mean? So I think it's a really amazing experience. You probably will not find it in any other game, and so I think that's why it's good to join for players to join the early access even now, because I think you will get a lot of value, a lot of fun from the game, and also the unified grid system and building gives you so much flexibility that's it, and it looks beautiful. So I think people will enjoy during early access, but of course, if they want to wait until end of the early access, they can also wait.
Right. I have got just a few really quick questions. These are really like specific sort of questions.
Go for it,
right.
Aaron.
Okay. So will there be any character customization?
We are just the simple one, like changing the gloves and coloring them and so on. Very similar to what we had in Space One, but not character customization, like changing the face and those kind of things. We're not planning that. Not in the in this core experience. Maybe we'll expand it later. Sometime like very very later in the future. But right now, we think this is not necessary for the core experience of Space Engineers. So like why should we defocus on it right now?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of questions from the community that are like very specific to things that they really want to do. So that's what I'm kind of tuning into at the moment. Another one of these would be: is there any thoughts of putting cameras on actual screens?
Like
so you could output a view of a camera onto one of your LCDs.
Like there is no plan, but can happen in the future. But I don't think it's part of the core experience. It's possible, just not something we want to focus on now.
Okay. Well, another really interesting one is painting one side of a block. Will that ever be possible, you think?
Painting one face.
Yeah.
We were considering it. It's like definitely like sounds cool. On the other hand, it can complicate things whenever you have, for example, functional blocks which are not just cubes, and suddenly it starts to be what is actually considered to be a side, what is not, and it's a complicated shape. So for now, I don't think it will be a thing.
Okay, quickly whipping into another question then. There's a lot of questions around air tightness. Is something you've explored?
Well, air tightness will be definitely a thing. We need it even for water, right?
Yeah.
To know when there is
buoyancy and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Actually, regarding air tightness, a couple months ago, we had like very nice brainstormings between programmers and artists and really good ideas how to make sure that the airtight blocks really look airtight and there are not even like centimeter gaps or anything like that. So basically now when something is airtight, there is no gap, and when there is no gap, it also means it's airtight. So it's very easy. You will see it also on the red ship, like around the glasses in the cockpit room and everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And remember that this time it's 25 centimeter grid where you can build really quite complex things, right? And seal it with small blocks. and then it's actually airtight. So essentially, what you see is what you get, airtightness. And another thing that we were quite a lot discussing is how to tell people where it's leaking. Right, that's kind of a hard thing.
Leak detector.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in a massive ship, and you just know that it's like, it's starting to take on water, but you have no idea where. It's got to be a thing for sure. Any more? How are we looking, Aaron? I mean, I'll say this, guy. There's a lot of questions, right? There's like probably, if we had to calculate every single question that's been asked, there's probably 1,000 different questions. But we will definitely get all these. We will answer these questions. It might just not be today as we approach the 3-hour mark here. So there'll be more follow-up streams, of course. We'll have. There'll definitely be a stream on January 27th. So that's just over a month away. And you can definitely expect further dev streams with Marek and other guests.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, Natik,
on the
art
lead,
designers, and I would like more people, but I'm sure not all of them want to come on the stream, because they like to stay with their computers. But yeah, there are many people that will be on the streams and talking about the development details.
Cool. I say, Aaron, if there's just a few more quick ones, maybe, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, we can dive through a few, but like I said, they're very specific. One's about fuel sources. What sort of fuel sources have you thought about for SE2? Will there be uranium, oil? Will there be hydrogens?
I think generally very similar to Space Engineers 1. And regarding oil, we're actually considering it because we will have water, which means actually we have liquids. We have
all
gases.
kinds of liquids, right?
Yeah. So having some kind of lava or magma and oil and some gases and water and like dirty water and so on, so could be possible, but not in the core experience. Not in the beginning. We can always add these things later. But again, I was, for example, just dreaming about the idea that you will be drilling oil.
And then it just suddenly,
that would be just absolutely mind-blowing.
Struck oil, that'd be very cool. And the pressure related to that, and we have all, this is definitely be very cool.
Right, I'll keep going with questions. You just shut me down, Joel, right?
Yeah, I will do, I know, yeah.
Will there be any sort of in-game scripting, like in SE1?
You say Tenet, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like, not currently, that's really future stuff, probably multiplayer update or something like that. So in next vertical slice, we will add just modding, but in-game scripting, like programmable blocks are planned. We already did lots of prototyping there. And what we are aiming for is as safe as possible experience on the servers. Because right now, what we see in Space Engineers, essentially all servers have scripting disabled because you can just bog down the performance of the server or memory very easily.
So some kind of like safeguard, I guess.
Sandboxing.
I mean, just in terms of scripts that really crush the server's performance, right? It's something that
you can do that quite easily in Space Engineers. Even though we tried there to safeguard it.
Yeah.
There are. I think in Space Engineers 2 we found better ways how to safeguard against those.
That's great.
Okay, I've got a hot one for you.
Oh, okay. I've got one as well, but yeah, go ahead.
Aerodynamics. Any thoughts into that?
It comes with planets, right? Let's see. How does that fit in?
Well, definitely not in core experience. We will see in the future, like Havoc, for example, have some aerodynamics. So it can help us a little. It's very basic, but not in near-term plan. Okay.
There's a question from the chat that it's been asked quite a lot. That's asking about we talked about Xbox and PlayStation, but a lot of questions talking about Linux as well. If that's Linux servers or Stream Deck and all the other things that benefit from Linux. So I'm not sure if you can share anything, just future thoughts on that, Chenda.
Yeah, since we are C#, it's kind of lending itself to be Linux. It's quite close. It should be not hard, but
Miro told me yesterday that he ran it on the Steam Deck.
Nice.
There you go, Space Engineers.
Then it crashed. So he basically loaded the game. He spawned. He could walk for like a few seconds, and then it crashed. Like he's kind of investigating why it crashed. Right. does know, but just the kind of like vanilla support from Steam Deck made it work. So
The Proton is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Again, it's not our, I would say, like target platform right now. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this is completely unofficial and just experiment.
Yeah.
But I'm sure some people will, you know, play with it more.
Yeah.
I actually saw the video. Yeah, Miro was showing the video because he was recording it, and it was running quite fast. You know, quite okay, which I'm surprised with the ray tracing and everything. Maybe I don't know. It was disabled. I didn't really know, but you know, that was really interesting.
So yeah, just to I see. I mean, maybe unless the chat's delayed, there's people asking Linux support, Linux native server support. So yeah, as the guys said, like definitely something that has already been a little bit experimented with, but for the future, it's it does seem like it could be something that's not too far out there in terms of supporting. So a lot of people, a lot of Linux hypers in the chat, that's for sure.
Yeah, the big thing is also like server support, right?
For Linux, of course.
Cheaper.
Yeah, definitely. That's 100%.
Like no concrete plans. I think the core experience will be PC, right, and consoles eventually. But it's something that is doable, and we will consider it.
One hot question that we've got asked quite a lot is: will there be any DLC transfer from SE1 to SE2?
No, we are not planning that. It's not even possible, you know, let's say like legally or technically, because you know, we would have to actually agree with Steam or, you know, Microsoft or Sony, you know, because people purchased these DLCs there and now they are transferred to another game and so on. So that's one thing. Another is that we are recreating everything from scratch, you know, so nothing
Fidelity
in Space 2 is a copy. Even the sounds, for example, like, of course, with the sounds, we started that, like, first we used the Space 1 sounds, you know, in Space 2. We, of course, had to re-implement them on the code side and, you know, the F mode and that part, but it was still, you know, the sound files were from SE1, but then we just started to replace them and change them because we don't want that, I don't know, it feels cheap. So, and then we have the new grid system, which gives you new possibilities. And if you were still using the old blocks, you know, then we would be limiting those possibilities. The blocks have new design. You know, there is some unification, how to use the, or like what should be the modularity of the terminal and this kind of like accessibility points on the blocks. So we are doing everything from scratch. And even for that reason, I think, you know, it's okay that there will be no transfer of DLCs.
Right, lovely. We could keep going with more questions, or would you like to wrap it up there, Joel?
I mean, well, it's so hard to say because I know the hype is real. We should just feel like, you know, we are reaching a pretty good point. Like I know there's so many questions. This is huge news. I'm still even though beforehand the preparation, everything, like I'm still digesting that this is a real thing. This is happening today, Marek.
Yeah.
And January 27th, it leads me right on to a thing. January 27th, guys, if you were to play Space Engineers 2 for yourself. And I say right now the pre-orders are up on the website, so you can, if you go to the website, that will give you a Steam key and you can redeem that. And I think I also wanted to ask, because I saw a lot of people, once again, give me an 07, give me a little salute in the chat. Let's see it fly. How many of you guys have already hit that pre-order button and have locked in playing Space Engineers 2 in January? I'm really curious. I see it. Oh, I see a one already. Who's that name? Far Out Matt has already pre-ordered. I wonder who the first pre-order. I'll be really curious if we can look back the first 10 people. Who was like the quickest to the website? So
yeah, I think only Steam knows this kind of things.
Yeah. I said, Aaron, hit us with a few more. Go on.
Okay, all right, you ready for these? These are real. Are pistons and rotors going to be in the alpha access?
Oh well, Chenda was talking about it, but
Like definitely it will be core experience, but we don't have solid plan in which update it will go out. So at some point we will definitely look into it. We have some even prototype implementation already, so I'm definitely looking forward to it because it's a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun. As I mentioned, like in some of the creations that you shared, Marek, and stuff, like some of the most like ingenious creations that we've seen in SE1 have come from those use of those those mechanical blocks. So no doubt, it's got to be done. There's no way it couldn't be an SE2. So
here's another great one then. Will the campaign be co-op and multiplayer?
I would say there is no specific plan about this yet. Like again, we want to keep it simple, so it should be mainly single player campaign. And
Co-op?
could be cool. Yes.
that would be really cool.
Like
yeah.
we were considering this with the designers. We'll see. Like right now, I'm really trying to keep it simple. Like really not be too, like too hungry. And to want to have everything at the same time. And because one thing that we did with Space Engineers 1 was that we got some idea, we added it. We got another idea, we added it. And people asked for 10 ideas, we added it.
Yeah.
And then the early access took 6 years. And I think it does need to be like that. It can be that you can finish the core experience
and then build on
and
that.
then build on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we are doing
well.
with vertical slices, that we are doing one thing and then another thing and then another thing. We are not doing all these things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like one thing after another. And also we are very carefully picking up what to work on, what is bringing good value to the players or even to us, because of course some features we want to develop because just want to develop them. We want to have them in the game.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Super.
Oh, should I keep hitting them with some questions?
I mean, and again, guys, I'm seeing lots, and I know that with the team could answer some of these. I always say this happens in every stream. Doesn't matter if it's a big stream like this, and it's always a slight feeling of disappointment that we're ignoring some questions. It's definitely not that. It's really just the case that there's more questions than we can possibly get to in a locked period of time. And one of the questions I saw was was about orbital mechanics. I've seen that come up quite a lot as well. So again, the thoughts around this.
Yeah, so definitely not in the core experience, but eventually at some point in the future, I would like to have orbital mechanics.
Super cool. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know, maybe a year ago or 1.5 years ago, I spent a couple days designing it and brainstorming with people in the team. So I would understand the challenges better and also the potential. And we didn't resolve them. So that's why we, are putting it to some future, backlog. Because I think to resolve those questions will take not just few hours, spending really some time. And those challenges are, I would simplify or sum it up in two. One is that the speeds would be much higher, because when these orbital objects are orbiting, it's thousands of meters per second or kilometers per second and so on. So streaming, would need to somehow handle it, or we would have to hide it in some sense, so the player will not, imagine that you are standing somewhere or you are stationary, even though it doesn't make sense because, nothing is stationary, everything is orbiting somehow. But then a planet is kind of rushing towards you in this, thousands of kilometers per hour per second speed. And the streaming would have to work, the collision detection or whatever there would have to work. So that's one thing. And the other is the intuitiveness and the simplicity of the game. So right now, when the objects and the planets and asteroids are static, you can always find their way there. You can land there quite easily. But imagine that you want to land
Everything
on
is
that planet,
moving, right?
and it's the planet's just moving like crazy, and you have to align yourself. So it will become much more harder for players. And it's actually not what we want to do right now in the kind of this core experience of Space Engineers 2. We don't want to make the game more harder, in this direction.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love the idea, and I would definitely want to do it. I think also in the team, every time we start talking about people
love it. People love
just
it.
shine. So we will do it, but again, we need to choose our fights, go one thing
Step
after
at a
another.
time.
And another topic that I have that I would love to do is terraformation.
Oh yeah,
And
terraforming.
terraforming. So VRH3, voxels, volumetricity, it's just made for this.
It's set up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's asking.
So imagine, having a planet and there are some, volcanoes, but actually volumetric volcanoes,
And then, but then in theory, being able to change it to a habitable planet.
And the planet will be changing, the
trees are great. Well, I guess you'd have to, but still, there'd be some bioengineering or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that can be amazing. But again, there are also so many, first the design, we would have to come up with good design and actually good reasons for having this in a game. So, there are some loops for players, some rewards and so on. And the other big challenge that Chendo is probably thinking right now is the code part, the performance.
He's like,
and
oh,
the
these
memory.
guys are talking about all this stuff.
Exactly, like where are
It's
we
one thing from an idea, right? a
where are we
vision, but-
going to store all these voxel changes? If you are
Yeah.
talking about like terraforming the whole planet, the voxels in the whole planet. So
Yeah.
that's another big problem that I believe we can solve, but it deserves its own
Yeah.
time.
Right. Let's try and let's do.
I've got a good one.
All right.
I've got a good
We'll
one.
do 4 more. That's it. Counting down here until the next one.
All right. Is there any plans for any sort of new physics box? We've got pistons, hinges, and rotors. Is there anything like ball joints or anything else, or what you've got, or springs?
Any of a
No,
kind.
not at the moment. We will start simple, then
Mhm.
we will see what
Yeah.
we can do.
The new Havoc. Very cool. I have one again, another one. I'm just trying to pull ones that I'm seeing a lot of. One was about it kind of comes into this same thing about like Linux and that's VR, because obviously VR is still growing. Like it's still like not every. And I always say this on SE. People are talking about for SE1. It's like, I know at Keen you love VR, you love your Quest. People love VR, and obviously we've experimented with VR quite a fair bit in the past. But it was always about, we have a set number of resources, and we can either work on. It's about how do we use those resources, and there's features that would every player could enjoy, and there's features that a smaller subset, which is not to mean we shouldn't do it. And VR is continuously growing, continuously getting better. So I guess it's just a question if there's any thoughts towards that in Space Engineers 2 yet.
Like not right now, not
Right.
in this core experience. And as you said, like the team has like certain capacity,
Yeah.
and I think actually focusing on a few things and going deep is much better, more valuable than like spreading our focus on too many things. Being defocused, because in the end, it means that Chendo will be defocused because he would be working on like more
Yeah.
different areas, and I would be. My focus would be split. So now I'm actually enjoying quite a lot that I can focus only on creative mode, and that's what I was focusing on last few months. And I just feel much more productive than when I'm just jumping from one thing to another. So
Yeah.
I would really like to keep this style of work for a couple of years.
But and I always just say that I know that VR is super cool. I think it's not for everyone, right? But it is now. It was times in the past it was attempted, but it's definitely here to stay now. Yeah, I know we have lots of VR fans, addicts even at Keen. So who knows? All right, Aaron,
Can we get
2 more? Maybe
quick one?
2 more.
This is in high demand.
All right.
We touched on the air tightness already.
Okay.
Voxel air tightness. So like you
Chen
said,
is
you
like,
build-
here
you-
we go.
Okay, that's not planned, but you never know.
Okay. There it is. From Chenda. Okay.
There's multiple questions about flexible piping. People would like rope-like piping and other sort of physics things. They're all very specific
Yeah.
scenarios. Could you tell us about like anything new and interesting that you're really excited about in terms of a block or some sort of functionality from it?
Hmm. Like you mean mechanical blocks?
Yeah, like a mechanical or
Yeah.
physical
Well,
one. Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing will be having just stable physics.
Yeah.
Like this is, having any contraption in any like mass differences and still being stable, still being kind of usable, not clanging, not exploding or anything. So that's why I would rather focus on having just core like rotors, pistons, and having it working perfectly. Once this is settled,
Then we can
move on
expand.
and
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah.
Another quick or really good one. The survival experience. Will it be made harder? Because currently in Space Engineers, some people are explaining how at the start it's really difficult, and then you get everything together, and it's really easy. Will it be challenging throughout the survival experience?
So I think this is answered by the backpack building. That in the beginning it should be easy. It should get more complicated with the challenges you need to solve, but not the process itself of collecting resources and building. So the challenge should be in like what you want to build and why you want to use it for.
Yeah.
That's how I see the progression. But again, it should really start very simple, almost like creative mode. That's how I see it.
There's some good questions about joystick support. Is any thought gone into that?
We actually invested quite a lot of time into our input system, so it's quite versatile. Again, no plan, no promises, but the input system itself can handle quite broad range of inputs.
Is that again compared to SE1? Is a step up? Is it?
Yeah. But in the end, delivering smooth and polished experience with joysticks, that's completely another level. So we will have to invest into it, and that's not in the current plan.
Okay, Aaron,
Right.
we've gone through our 4. Let's do one final question, then we're gonna have final thoughts. I know it's hard
I'm trying to
because
find something real good.
it's really hard because there is a lot. And again, guys, I really understand the you really want to hear more. You have because this is the start of a new era. There's going to be a lot of questions for a while and ongoing, and as things develop, there will be. But we will get to them. Maybe not just today.
And do we ask one of the questions that's just a demand for a feature, just to see if it's been explored, or do we try and find something a bit more technical?
Up to you, mate. Let's
shields, Marek. Any thoughts on shields?
Shields.
That's interesting question. So originally I didn't want to have shields in Space Engineers because it felt too fantasy and so on. Now I will be more open to it. We don't have it in the actual plans, but there are always things that we can change the idea or and so on. Because my thinking about Space Engineers has also changed in terms of realism is good, but sometimes you need to make some things more fun, more accessible, more easier to understand, more easier to manage in the game. And actually shields could help with many of these things. So I'm not completely against it now, but I think we don't have it in the current plan.
But we have safe zones. That's kind of close.
Yeah. But for example, we are playing with an idea of some repair systems. Again, no promises, but I think that's something that we are exploring quite a lot. I think that could be quite interesting. So let's say imagine that you have a blueprint of your ship. So there is this kind of like a ground through.
Yeah.
And some blocks get damaged. On some HUD, you see which blocks are damaged, and easily you can repair them manually or maybe some automated process. I think this can be useful as well, and then maybe can actually help with the gameplay because now the cost of error or some mistake is not so high. It's okay, I crashed this thing, but I can repair it with just few resources and so on. So yeah.
Cool. And I was going to say just about the shields as well. And I never forget, Marek, that because I remember it actually goes back when I think when I interviewed you in 2014. This is before I worked at Keen in 2014 when I visited the old office in Davidson, and I remember I asked. I mean, everyone was asking you, but I remember asking you oh, Marek, will we get planets? And you're like, oh, not, not at this time or something like that. And planets came a year later. So obviously, guys, there's a lot of transparency. But we have this roadmap. You've seen the vertical slices that are coming up. But part of this, inviting you guys in to go forward with the game and help us, with the feedback and everything, plans. I say plans can change, but the new ideas and focuses and this. Nothing is still totally set. Obviously, we have this vision for it, but maybe as time goes on and we have a ton of feedback from players that this is the thing that would I don't know if you have anything to add to this top. Oh, Aaron or
like Marek said, the early access is all about building this game together with us and supporting us through development. So it's a great chance to get involved at an early stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. Well, it has been. I think, Aaron, we're gonna wrap the party up, but you can stay here for the outro. We're going to play the trailer before we enter. But thank you so much for joining us, Aaron.
Thank you.
It was
a
great to have, to go through all the questions, because the chat on our screen is working now. But earlier, I think we might have hit, I think the peak was like 17,000 viewers. I think we had. That was the peak earlier.
Yes. We had to put the slowdown on multiple times, up to like 5 minutes at one point.
And the chat wasn't even, I was like, the chat, it was like really weird. I've never seen that before. We like broke this chat application I have here. So that's why it was a bit confusing. But the point is that, yeah, you've been monitoring the chat there. Because it's very hard to do on stream when we're just talking and going over stuff.
It's fantastic work.
Good job, mate.
Yeah.
So we'll go through here. We'll go, Aaron, final words. No, that sounds like I'm going to do. Final words. No, okay, finishing comments here.
My finishing comments would be, I am extremely excited. When you get your hands on this, you're going to have an absolute blast. It's just going to be lovely to play. Ram some ships in some asteroids, build with that small grid system, combine the blocks together, and you'll have a fantastic time. Back over to you, Joel. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm going to hand it right over to Chenda now. Chenda, final thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for all the feedback from the players once they will get the hands on the build. Like, it will be huge, and hopefully no crashes.
Yeah, there we go. And that's a good quote. I actually have quickly a bonus. When it comes to when maybe we'll talk about it on the release stream, but when it comes to reporting issues and suggesting feedback and ideas, how will players do that? Can we talk about that now? Or?
Yeah. So we have in the application, in the build, there is a crash reporting, and that runs automatically. Whenever it crashes, it reports to us, so we know about it, and we definitely take care of it with hotfixes right after the release every time. That's the same thing in Space Engineers. And of course, there will be support site where players can do bug reports, but also the feedback and then vote.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. So new support site coming as well, guys. So you can that'd be very important. It always is, and we fix tons of things and implement things based on that. So great. And Marek, for this final words of this big day.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just starting.
Yeah.
You know, something we have been working on for 3 years in stealth, and now it's finally public, and we can talk about it. And in 1 month, we can share it. We can share the result with the community. And I also want to thanks again to Chendo and the rest of the team. We really have a great team, like professionals, dedicated, and you can see how people are putting their love to the game. So it's not just like, I don't feel from anybody that it's just a job for him or her. You know, that it's more than that. And we're also learning how to be more productive. Many people are gaining experience as we are developing it. I think the progress that we have seen in the last 6 months on, like how the game shaped was absolutely amazing. And I think it also gave a lot of confidence to people in our team. And I'm happy with the result. I think there was not any single compromise. And even things that we, didn't finish on time and moved to some future vertical slice, I'm not crying because of that. It's like it will come. It's okay.
Yeah.
We had time to polish to the quality bar that we have, the features that are in the game, and the visuals, the art, the music, the sound, the game design. All this is like above my expectations. Like, I don't really remember what I was expecting. 6 months ago, 3 years ago, I probably was expecting quite a lot because that's how I do it. But somehow now I feel that I got more than I wanted from my team. It's like much better. Everything feels much better, looks much better, and the game feels very mature. So I'm super grateful and happy, and also looking forward to share it with players and then see what the players will create. Because until now it was just Miko and few people here and there, like helping with the level design.
Yeah.
But after the game goes public, then it will be, thousands or hundreds of thousands of people building, or millions maybe, building. So it will be much more content than we can create. Yeah. maybe one more thing also is that I also am happy with how we are doing the development of the game. So we call it like CI, this continuous or continual development and integration. And so it's a system where we can be committing things, and QA, quality assurance team is testing it, reporting bugs, making sure, and this CI process also makes sure that we almost all the time we have working build of the game internally, so it's not broken. There are no regressions, so you don't have this like one step forward, two step backwards, kind of situation happening 50 times per day. And it's very like nice development. It doesn't feel frustrating, so that's another thing I'm extremely grateful for. So again, but mainly I'm grateful to the team, everybody in the team, from like as I mentioned, programmers, artists, but also PR and QA, our back office, and everybody. It's a teamwork.
Definitely. It's I mentioned with the teams of Chenda's teams about being a culmination of the kind of the different engine teams, but obviously to get to this point, it's a culmination of everyone's work, like from every single team. It's all listed in the blog post. The shout outs to the kind of team leads there, but of course it's the Keen is as big as it's ever been, and it's as great as it's ever been as well. And I think we'll continue to push the quality and push the levels of everything of that we see and that we do. So I think that's time to wrap it, I think. So I will just say to the chat, thank you, and the community as a whole, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for being here for this moment. I would love to give some shout outs, but there's so many of you here today. And again, final kind of reminder that it's coming. Space Engineers 2 is coming on January 27th, 2025. And you can already pre-order on the website. And I'm sure the mods will get some links in the chat for that. There'll be more streams. We'll have more streams with more guests as well. So yeah, we're at the start of a new era, and we're all really excited. And I hope you will join us on this journey. Okay, that's it. And of course, we'll finish with the trailer. But thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next one. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy the trailer.
Welcome back, engineer. After 10,000 years in cryosleep, you have awakened to a new dawn in the Almagest system. 10,000 light years from Earth, our home is but a distant memory. Here, the bright star Almagest and the brown dwarf Delphos form a double-star system. Among the first wave of space engineers, you stand at the threshold between void and possibility. Armed with humanity's most advanced tools, you'll build with unprecedented flexibility using the 25-centimeter unified grid system with undo-redo support. Blueprint building becomes seamless. Partially copy-paste, snap to grid, and assign to toolbar. The new voxel hand helps reshape asteroids and alter materials. These intuitive tools ensure that every engineer, veteran or novice, can bring their vision to life. Our grids can reach speeds up to 300 meters per second, with engineering advancements ensuring that collisions up to 20 meters per second will not cause structural damage. The Bearing Project represents humanity's drive to explore and create beyond Earth's boundaries. Pioneers make this one-way journey, seeking self-reliance and a new frontier. Motivated not by necessity, but by the fundamental human desire for discovery and freedom. Join us in the Almagest system, where every act of creation shapes our destiny.